things. Just because you go live doesn't mean I'll stop saying stupid things.
Hey guys, welcome to the JCG. Premier League today is gonna be the Okinawa Tigers versus Ozone Rampage. Today with me on Skype is Corey Swanson.
Hi there, everybody.
I'm gonna put up the volume a little bit more because that opening team just burst my eardrums.
Nice. It caught me before that opening scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on stream and I said, just because you go live, it won't stop me from saying anything stupid.
Oops.
So. I am Corey. I'm here with you tonight to say all of the stupid things. And like you said, it's JCG. What is this? Semifinal number 2 for season 1?
Semifinals number 2. Yes, it will be the Okinawa Tigers versus Ozone Rampage.
Rawr.
We will be streaming from my apartment today because the studio's used today.
Occupied.
So occupied. Yeah. So
Occupado.
Streaming from Mikasa. It's freezing. It's not cold outside in Tokyo today, but like at home in Tokyo, like apartments, there's no like central heating or anything. So if you don't turn on the heater, you're gonna freeze to death, right, Corey?
Yeah, you that, or you just forget to put cooling on your computer and then you're set to go all winter. So
yeah, but today we will be playing on the latest live patch, the 4.3 patch. So there's a lot of nerfs coming in. I think the biggest ones are Gragas and Kassadin, as well as Kha'Zix, because there's like
poor Kha'Zix.
Yeah, so Kha'Zix got nerfed, and then he got nerfed again this patch.
Buffs too, but I don't know. I haven't seen it how it's really played out yet, but there were a lot of people complaining because, like, I think it went from a 0.8 to a 0.2 ratio on his jump.
Yeah, so now
which is huge, and there was a 0.2 on his Q as well.
Yeah, and his Q was just completely nerfed, so it's missing health damage from 8% now it's 6%, and maximum damage for monsters has reduced from 200 to 100.
So that's halved. He got a few bonuses. He got
a little bit here
unit
and there,
collision ignoring, and a doubled ultimate invisibility if you choose to level that up. So that'll be interesting.
I don't know if it's how good it's going to be in games. I don't think it's going to be chosen anyway. I don't know. We'll see. But Teemo, little Teemo got nerfed too.
Get those mushrooms out of here.
Yeah. But Yasuo, I think the big thing is Yasuo got nerfed as well. And so that's pretty big. His shield is pretty much nerfed like pretty crazily. So
yeah, level 18, it lost 220 damage. So, well, the ability to take an extra 220 damage. So that's a pretty big amount, honestly, all things considered. It'll be interesting to see if that's enough to let him get through picks and bans here today. I don't know if he's. I don't know.
I want to see with Kassadin too, because he's so he was nerfed, right? And so I don't know how that's going to be like.
Yeah, I mean they're good numbers. I think they're in the right direction. It was max rank Q down 20 damage and a max rank E down 40 damage, as well as the silence duration. You lost half a second there.
Yeah. No, I think the silence is huge.
It
is. Numbers, yeah.
It gives you a little bit more counterplay in lane or when you get ganked, as Kassadin is wont to do. However, I still think he's going to be pretty. It's that potential. You never know. Is he going top? Is he going bottom? Who's he going to come kill next? His ultimate is still completely intact. So
yeah, I don't know, because like Rai was saying that they are going to nerf him a little bit more, but it's just this is like the trial period for him. Right. So I'm interested to see what are they going to do with him. But no one plays Kassadin now. No one can play Kassadin in a ranked game or in competitive now. Like he's 100% banned on every single game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if these numbers were good or they hit like an even balance, it's gonna take a long time before it falls out of the public mind that, hey, ban Kassadin, don't let anybody play him. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Not a few, Skarner got buffs. He's still
I know.
terrible.
I don't know the rework. I'm not very convinced about that. Yeah, like a lot of little minor changes here and there as well. But Doran's shield, a lot of items that were just changed.
Yeah,
so
Doran's
much.
shield needed that. Maybe I think it got hit a little hard, but it needed some changes as it was like it was the best thing to pick up almost top lane, bot lane as a support, as a top laner.
Yeah, and like the ancient coin line, like I didn't like that too much, because
yeah, you don't want to pick that anymore, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm a little sad with all like a little item changes make me a little bit sad, but I don't know.
But there's no more AoE bonus or loss damage. What's the word I'm looking for? There's no penalty for AoE on the Spirit Stone items now. So,
yeah, true that.
I've been really excited. I'm gonna play like a Mumu all week this week.
That'd be nice.
So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how the player's gonna play the champion sets. Because like most of them are just nerfs, so like none of them was buff. Like, oh my god, this is going to be such a great buff for the champion. There's none of that this time, right? It's basically just nerfs all round.
Yeah, that's okay. It just makes everything viable. I don't know if you were watching OGN Masters last night, but I believe it was Mad Life actually picked up an ohm wrecker.
I was still waiting to watch the.
Well, you look for that ohm wrecker because chat freaked out. It's been a while since I've seen that item. I don't know why, but
I thought yesterday's game was SKTT1S.
It was
right?
it was all of it.
Not
so
K,
Masters puts all of an organization's teams versus each other. So in the first game it was SKT T1S, which is like the secondary team, versus CJ Antis Flame.
Yeah.
And then the second game was Frost versus T1, the main team.
Yeah.
And then like the third match is like called the Masters match, and you can theoretically mix and match rosters, but you just want to get your teams as much practice as possible. So it was the sister team, the baby team, versus Flame again. So, but yeah, really quick for those of you just joining us, I'm going to jump in here. Also, one of your brackets in the title is a Japanese bracket, and it's kind of funny. But this is JCG Premier League, and this is not in Japanese. So if you are looking for the Japanese stream, that's twitch.tv/JCGLOL. I'm Corey Swanson, and I'll shut up so that you can listen to Ferlin Yoshimi.
What? No, yeah. So today's this is strictly the English stream. If you want to watch Japanese stream, you can go ahead. As Corey said, it's Twitch TV/JCGLOL, and that's going to be the Japanese stream. But for today, here, the pleasure is all mine to bring to you with Corey Swanson, the Okinawa Tigers versus the Ozone Rampage guys. So if you don't know about the Ozone Rampage, they played in the WCG. Am I right? WCG.
Yes. World Cyber Games 2013 in China.
In China a couple months back. And they did okay. They had a good time there. I know a lot of the viewers were very happy to see them there because I think one of the Japanese players actually did the chicken dance on stream. And that made Monty pretty happy.
Yeah, that was a really good time. So like that should speak a little bit, I think, to Ozone Rampage, the fact that they were able to qualify for the Japan spot for the WCG, and actually before the end of December were simply known as Rampage.
Yeah.
And then were picked up by Ozone, so they're actually sponsored by Ozone now, which sponsors a bunch of organizations all around the world. Most famously probably in Korea, but they do have a Japanese team now, and that is Ozone Rampage. Very strong team. They kind of had some ups and downs, I would say, coming into the new year.
Yeah, coming in the new year, a little bit ups and downs, right? They haven't been very consistent with their games, and so I think both teams, like we talked about this for tons and tons of times already. So the two top teams were originally Ozone Rampage and Destination Focus Me, but the two of them have been very, very lackluster as of lately. But they still are top tier teams here in Japan, and Mino, our Rampage's AD carry Mino is in the challenger tier in the NA rankings.
Right. So, and like you talk about this kind of like the fall from grace, and we had the JCG Grand Championships last month, and in that, final tournament, Ozone got knocked out in the semifinal stage there as well, knocked into the third place game, and so kind of everything for them now is, can they get back to the pinnacle of glory? This is their chance. This is their game to kind of win and go on for the 2014 Season 1 championships. So there's definitely a lot on the line for them, and I'm really expecting to see them come out and play super hard. On the other side, this Okinawa Tora, or the Okinawa Tigers team, kind of just came out of nowhere.
They really did. They were previously known as Team Twerk. They made a name for themselves because of their team name. Like Team Twerk kind of came out of nowhere, and then like it's just they're all like. Tell me a little bit about them, because they're not all Japanese, right?
Yeah. So the Okinawa Tigers, very interesting. Well, very interesting story in the sense that, yeah, like you mentioned, this is a team. Kind of their team motto is like, let's just have fun, and that's why you talk about this team coming in as Team Twerk, bringing the fun there. And so it's a mix of people, most of them from southern Japan, like the Okinawa area. For those of you familiar with it, it's kind of like Japan's Hawaii, of a sorts. But they very interesting team. They use both English and Japanese. The communication is all over the place, but they're really a lot of fun to watch. It's a really like high energy style. And that's why they're the Okinawa Tigers. They're from Okinawa, and a little bit of history to throw this on all of you. They took the Tigers name, or the Tora name, from the old daimyo in Japan. Those of you who know your Japanese history, it was Uesugi Kenshi, who was a pretty famous daimyo. You can look him up on Wikipedia. But he was also known as the Tiger of Echigo, or Echigo no Tora. So kind of this like, he very famous, very powerful kind of daimyo. What's daimyo? What do I want to say for daimyo?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but sounds amazing.
That's where they got the tiger from.
Daimyo. Daimyo.
But yeah, they're
lords, basically. Like, those prefecture lords?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the word. Feudal
lords. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it.
So that's what we have. We have the feudal lords from Okinawa, embodied by tigers, and another team sponsored by Ozone, absolutely ready to go on the rampage. We should be starting up here in just under 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're waiting on two of the Okinawa Tigers to join us. I think we're just waiting on Young, who's the mid laner, and Rojo, who is the AD carry. We can't have the two carries missing here, can't we?
Yeah, we'll have to make sure they get in, because we do not want to start without that. Those of you wondering, what are you doing? Are you playing, you've seen us play recently on the Taiwan server, on the Korean server, on the NA server. Tonight, it is going to be the NA server. Obviously, since we're not playing with any teams from Taiwan, we don't want to play on the Taiwanese server. And as long as NA doesn't give us any problems, there's not a whole lot of reason to go to the Korean server. Ping is better. Reading Korean is not. So for the time being, we are going to be on the NA server. Pings from Japan, those of you who follow us can probably recite this number by heart now. We say about 120 to 160.
Yeah, we are on the NA server. We haven't been playing on the NA server a lot lately because it's a little server issues, a little spike in lagging recently, and so but today seems good. The patch was just live yesterday, and so I think everything is still pretty amazing here today. So we're gonna play on the NA server today. If anything happens, we will switch to the Korean server, but as of now, the server looks stable, and it looks like we will get the games going. Roger has just joined the game, so we are just waiting for Young, who is the mid laner.
Oh, and it should be pointed out, we mentioned this earlier, talked about we are playing on the live patch. We talked about nerfs. We talked about bans. What else does playing on the live patch mean? It means that we could see some Vel'Koz tonight. I'd love to see it in a game that means so much for these players, a championship. And I believe a decent sum of money also on the line for these players. Maybe not the best time to pull out the Vel'Koz, but it would be kind of fun.
I don't think so. I think he's going to be banned. I would think so. I think it's going to take away one ban from the other side, from I think Ozone side, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a ban because there's no rules in JCG that says, Vel'Koz can be played as of yet. So he will be playable tonight, but I don't think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see him in a ban, not necessarily in the game though.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. Like Ferlin mentioned earlier, we're just waiting for all the players to get here because we're doing this online. So it's everybody kind of fending for themselves. They get home from school, they get home from work, jump on the computer.
Ooh, so I just got big news. So Young
Ooh.
can play tonight, and so their manager, Hentai Onijang, if you guys know what that is in Japanese, you might not want to translate in English, but Hentai Onijang will be playing for them. Hentai Onijang is actually their manager from Okinawa, but he has recently moved to Boston because he's in college in Boston right now. So he'll be playing from Boston tonight, actually.
All right. Well, there we go. All the better for him on the NA server. Let's see some super flashes out of him. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead, Google hentai Onichan, see what pops up. Don't hold me accountable.
Yeah, you don't want to be responsible for what pops out in your Google search if you do that. But yes, Hontai Nichan will be subbing in for Young tonight as the mid laner. So Young can play tonight, and their manager, Hontai Nichan, will be subbing from them, and he's going to play from Boston tonight. What time is it in Boston right now?
Currently, the time in Boston is
oh my word, it's
6:30
6:30
a.m.
a.m.
So,
wow.
a good way to start your Friday morning is. I mean, I suppose he's awake as the manager for the team, making sure everybody shows up anyway, and just kind of being told, "Hey, for whatever reason, you get to play now." So that I think is a little unfortunate for the Okinawa Tigers.
I don't know how it's going to work because Hentai Onichan is a support player.
Right.
He's always been a support player.
Well, we'll have to see. I don't. So the Okinawa Tigers kind of have a glut of support players in terms of their backups playing in that support role. Obviously, all of you play League of Legends. You can play all the different roles, I'm sure. But yeah, you're right. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out because when you play outside of maybe your comfort main role, things might not go so well. Is this league considered semi-pro? This league is.
I would say semi-pro because the definition for a pro league in esports right now is that the players are getting paid salary, meaning they're being paid monthly salary, like the Koreans are, the GPL teams are, and the LCS teams are also paid on a monthly basis because they have a base salary outside of team victory. So competition prize pools are not included in their salary. So this is a semi-pro league just because the players are not paid a monthly salary, but instead they're just given the prize pool money as semi-pros. And they are semi-pros because they are sponsored by different gaming gear companies or they have sponsors. So that's how you're going to define that's how you define a semi-pro versus a pro team or a pro league. So yeah, this is a semi-pro league.
Very, very well put, Ferlin. And it should be mentioned that the two teams today, the Okinawa Tigers and Ozone Rampage, are both probably in the top 4 in terms of best teams in Japan. So by that definition, you are going to be seeing kind of the top level of Japanese League of Legends play tonight. I don't want to poop on Japanese League of Legends, but we're a little behind. We're working our way up into competitive viability to catch up with the rest of the world. It's taken a little longer. PC gaming a little slower to catch on here. So
I just got big latest news again. So Hentaro Nisha won't be playing. Cocoon will be playing in his place. Cocoon will be in the top lane. and mid will be played by Honekawa. Honekawa Suzuemon. I'm just gonna call him Honekawa.
I'm just gonna call him Hone.
Like Honekawa. Okay.
So, those of you just joining us or those of you waiting around, we will get in here really, really quickly. Like Ferlin just said, we're juggling around players right now, pulling up replacements. And that's exactly what we were talking about. Do you want Oni-chan in the mid lane? Looks like that won't be the case. So as soon as we get all these players ready to go, it should be very, very shortly here because I think that's a full roster now, correct?
Yeah. Are you in my friends list? Yes, you are.
Am I? I sure hope we're friends.
Yes.
Unless you
and we are going into game. Tora will be on the blue side this time around. They will start with the blue side, and Ozone Rampage will be starting the purple side this time around. First bands coming out will be Kassadin and Vi.
So, all right, so there you have it. Kassadin still ban-worthy.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see him being played for a while. His nerfs were pretty strong, but he's not playable yet in terms of no one wants to play against him yet. So second band's coming out from the Okinawa Tigers is Leona. Pretty surprised by that. On the other side, Yasuo was still banned. So yeah, it's still very standard bans. Vi is a huge ban in Japan because Vi is considered the top jungler in terms of what Japanese players like to play in their jungle. You know, we don't see a lot of Pantheon lately. We see a lot of Vi coming up from Japanese players. The last ban coming out from the Okinawa Tora is LeBlanc.
Interesting, to say the least, especially because we're not looking... no, that's not interesting at all, actually. Tay is a really good LeBlanc player, so never mind. I take back everything I just said.
And the last ban is actually not Vel'Koz, and it will be the Thresh ban, so we won't be seeing any lanterns, any hooks coming in this game. I don't know. I'm pretty surprised that Vel'Koz was not banned up, but okay. And first pick coming in for the mid laner will be that Ziggs pick. I'm pretty surprised. I mean, well, yeah, I mean, he's been nerfed a little bit, but he's still very much viable in the current meta and the current patch.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of him all throughout the world. A really, almost, I want to say, safe mid laner, because you can just sit in mid lane, farm forever. You've got your Mega Inferno Bomb, and no surprises here at all. That will be Aotaka.
Yeah.
Renekton.
Yeah, and you know, Elise wasn't banned, so he's definitely going to be picked up. I was pretty surprised that the Okinawa Tigers didn't want to first pick an Elise because it's such a priority pick for a lot of teams right now. And to go with a Ziggs pick, which is sort of like a blind pick because you don't know what the other team is going to play yet, so it's a very big risk for them. But maybe they want to take away Ziggs from Tay, you know? Maybe that's your plan.
And like I said, you can farm. You've got your auto attacks, you've got your Q. So even in a bad lane, you can kind of sit back and try to farm. So it's not the worst pick ever. What do we have coming out from the Tigers now? You're a little bit ahead of me. So
Lysandra is being hovered over right now. Bakudan is still hasn't chosen anyone yet, but Lysandra is going to be locked in. So we are going to see that top Lysandra. I love Lysandra plays. And I'm really excited to see a Lysandra versus a Renekton. Renekton is going to bully Lysandra out of lane in the early games, but if the top laner, Cocoon today, can hold his lane a little bit longer than needed, it's going to be really good for them. But the pick coming up from Bakudan is going to be the Kazakhs. No.
Jokes, tricks.
Tricks. It's Pantheon. I'm so excited. Okay, this is such a great pick for them. You can tell already what kind of initiation and what kind of combination they want to go with. So you have a Lysandra and you have a Pantheon. They work really well together, and you can kind of lock everyone in. And you have the Mega Inferno Bomb coming from Ziggs if you want to have that huge execute coming out.
Yeah, I really like those 3 first picks already because that is a ton of AoE damage. What are we seeing out of Ozone now?
We're seeing Annie and Lucian, so it's a very common lane we see now. A lot of Annie being paired with Lucian, and we all know that Melon is so comfortable with the Lucian pick. You know, Lucian has so much early lane, early game burst in terms of AP burst, and he has a lot of CC. He has a comfortable comfortable amount of CC. But if you pair him with an Annie, it's going to be a very aggressive kill lane because Annie can always zone out someone else and she's always going to have that stun ready up. And once you get to level 6, a lot of players from the other opposition is going to be caught out of position because Flash Tubers can be out anytime.
Right. I think that fits really well, especially with Dejiwo's playstyle. He's a pretty aggressive support, and that's actually why he drew the Leona ban. He's been playing that a lot in solo queue lately. So, Leona not available, Annie is. Still a very, very valuable pickup and left
Yeah, so
open.
they did lock that in, so it will be the bot lane, Annie and Lucian. I love that lane coming in because it's so strong and it's a safe lane as well because you have Annie who can just make sure that the opposition doesn't come in too strong. And on the other side, we're going, oh, actually, no, it's not. It's going to be a Lissandra support. Huh. So it's going to be a Lissandra and Siva bot lane. And they are gonna lock in that Shyvana as their last pick.
All right, well, this is Okinawa Tigers.
No, we are getting trolled here. Envy is hovering around TF. Twisted Fate. We haven't seen Twisted Fate in a very, very long time. Ever since his global passive got nerfed, we haven't seen him in a competitive game in a really long time. But I'm really excited to see Lissandra as a support because, you know, when Lissandra first came out, she kind of went into every lane. She started with as a support, and then she went into mid, and then she went to top, and so this is going to be pretty exciting. Nope. Troll here, troll everywhere today. So they are going to hover around the Karthus, which is going to be very interesting because early lane Karthus versus a Ziggs is going to, I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna not talk and
have
just
they locked anything?
No, they have not locked anything yet. They have locked in. So we know what's gonna happen with Okinawa no Tora. It's going to be top lane Shyvana, and in the jungle it's going to be Pantheon. Mid lane it's going to be Ziggs, and in the bot lane it's going to be Rojo, Sivir on AD, and Rogo support on Lissandra. The last pick has been chosen. It will be Tay on the Gragas.
All right, so that'll be an interesting pick. Tay says Gragas still a viable champion. He didn't get hit too hard. A little bit, the nerf stick, 1 to a 0.9 ratio on his explosive cask, and his body slam does a lot less. It does less damage at lower levels until you get it to level 5. So, but not a bad pickup. It'll be interesting in that mid lane to see. I love watching Gragas play against the Ziggs because they both kind of just try and do that damage from afar.
Yeah, I mean, body slam was pretty much nerfed very strongly in terms of, you know, it used to be 0.66 at all ranks, and now it's just a skilling thing. So I'm just going to let you guys see the summoner spells now. I think this is it. Okay, there we go.
All right, well.
Gragas, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm interested to see how they're gonna play because if you look at the blue Okinawa no Tora, it's a very initiative heavy team because you have Sivir coming in, which I'm pretty surprised that Sivir was let through all the way to 4th pick because Sivir is a huge AD carry priority pick right now. So usually she might be picked first, but she was all the way through, and so On the Hunt is going to be so important for this team because it's a very high mobility team, and you have Shyvana coming in as well. So once On the Hunt is being used, it's going to be a crazy explosive fight coming in from Okinawa no Tora.
Yeah, well, and you know, everybody on her team is really going to appreciate that. Lissandra getting in there for her ultimate, and Shyvana as well, who actually we saw yesterday in OGN just turned into a monster. We'll have to see if Kakone can emulate that success today. On the flip side, coming out of Ozone, if you take a look at that team composition, there's a lot of damage there, and it's a team you don't want to get caught by, whether it's going to be Ozone's very own Cocoons coming out from Elise, or if it's going to be a stuns out of Giant Alligator, or if Annie manages to catch anybody off with her skills, gonna die pretty quickly.
Yeah, so early game, it's going to be Ozone Rampage with a little bit of a lead because if you look at top lane, Renekton is going to sort of beat Shyvana in terms of just bullying her out in the early games, and Elise is a stronger jungler in terms of very early game because she has a cocoon, and if she misses that, and you flash out of that in very early game, she's gonna stay and gank you in less than a minute later. So Elise is a very strong early jungler, and so if she snowballs early in the game, it's going to be very good for Rose on Rampage.
Right. So it's the junglers in this matchup are going to be so important for both teams. And like you say, kind of that maybe slightly earlier pressure from Elise. Pantheon, not the worst ganker in the world either with a stun and pretty good damage. But like you said, you pick Pantheon because the moment you hit level 6, the entire map is in danger. You become a threat everywhere. So I do like that pickup. It'll be interesting to see if Bakudan's going to be able to hold his own against this Tay from Rampage. So
yeah, I'm actually interested to see Ziggs with Gragas because Honegawa is he's a top laner, and so to transit from that to mid lane, especially if you don't main as a mid laner, it's going to be very interesting, especially if you're going to be laning against a Gragas, who is potentially very dangerous in lane.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the big stories here is you talk about we do have a sub coming in here for the Okinawa Tigers. So that will be Honekawa in the mid lane, is a top lane player. Will that play translate over into this middle lane? I think the poke coming out of Ziggs is maybe a little bit better, but if Gragas does want to all in, there will be that opportunity. And Gragas has a lot of damage when he decides it's time.
I like to see the. You guys, I'm going to show you guys anyway. So
what are you going to show us?
I have another screen for that. So like, I love how everyone's like has a diamond border because we're all in NA. So, but it's nice to see that all these players are all diamond players too. But worth mentioning that Middle is a challenger tier player.
Yeah, that's right. Currently sitting, I think I just looked it up earlier. It's I think 43 points in challenger, so just working his way up right now. But he's been popping up a lot if you watch any pro players high level streams.
Oh yeah, I mean if you're in challenger tier player, obviously you're gonna pop out everywhere with the other pro players coming in. I like. I'm really sad that a lot of these players are not playing with skins this time around. So, boo, you guys! Should all have skins.
What? No, skins aren't wins. You gotta make sure that stuff is separate.
Okay, and we are into game. This is game 1 of the ZCG Premier League. This is semi-finals. Number 2, it is on the blue side, Okinawa no Tora. And on the purple side, it will be Ozone Rampage. This is game 1, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Philin Yoshimi, and I will be casting this game alongside the lovely Mr. Corey Swanson.
Yeah, I'm so lovely. Yeah, I'll take it. Sounds good to me. But we are jumping into game here right now. This is the Okinawa Tora, or Tigers, and the Ozone Rampage. The Ozone Rampage, yes. That was totally right. But, so we're going to get into game here pretty quickly, and we are actually seeing these advanced level 1 strategies out of the Japan teams. I keep saying it's Japan. It's everybody right now. You kind of just make sure nothing fishy happens at level 1. You don't do anything yourself. You guard these entrances to your jungle. You make sure nobody comes in to take your buffs away. Other than that, right now, the way the junglers are positioned, it might be Tay taking red with Shyvana looking for the blue, which is going to set both of them up for bot lane opportunities after both buffs are taken.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of aggressive level 1 plays actually, but today it just seems like they're just going to be chilling out, making sure nothing happens to either side, no one gets a early ward in or anything.
Yeah, so I will be the first to admit I have not seen a lot of Lissandra support. So I'm very interested myself to see.
I'm checking if I have
so how does that play out? Is it just a lot of harass coming out from Lissandra and her Qs? And then forcing all-ins with her stun?
It's
Or...
interesting because Lysandra was picked before Annie was picked, and so I would love to know what the rationale was behind that. Oh my god, I'm getting a lot of spam on Twitch. Guys, don't spam on Twitch, okay? Please, come on. Be nice. But we are into game, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so here we go. This is game 1 of JCG 2014 Season 1 Premier League semifinals. Like you said, we're just starting, and obviously the starts of these games are always very, very exciting. You take a look at the items all across the board. Lysandra's actually opting, even with the nerfs, is going to pick up that ancient coin just to try and get that gold looted, as Rojo is going to try and pick up these minions. Other than that, not a whole lot happening. You see one sweeping lens on the side of the Tigers. And a little bit of harass coming out of Real Girl support here on Lysandra, who actually is not a real girl. So that's a misnomer, but not so important when all things are said and done. And
and it's interesting to see that Lysandra actually started out with the ancient coin. Oh, Real Girl support getting a lot of punishment coming in, has to flash out.
Wow.
Oh, the last auto attack. Annie's incredible auto attack range had that last auto attack on and got the first blood. Wow.
That was really well played by Ozone Rampage there. So they actually saw the ward going in the bush in the bot lane, pinged it out, and decided, hey, it doesn't really matter. We have the stun potential out of Annie, and the damage there was so strong. Elise coming in as well. Elise didn't pick up an assist, but for all intents and purposes, she's what finished off that kill, the cocoon, making just a stutter step come out from Real Girl support. And then, like you said, the flash coming out of Annie, picking up, I believe it's a 625 range auto attack. As we do see some action in the jungle, Tay actually tried to pick up those mini golems. A really good repel coming out. The slow coming out of
the flash coming out from Sivir managed to get her the kill for her. Wow, that was an insane gang coming in onto the red buff.
So that's what happens when you get caught out and the whole rest of the team is close by. 4 members of the Tigers collapsing, and that evens up the kills. So really good job of finding that out. And again, it's that ward. You can see that ward on red buff right there. Said, hey, wait a minute, what's he doing in our jungle? But here's Rojo now taking a ton of damage in the bot lane. Will be able to get away. You don't want to die there, especially with the double buff just picked up from Envy, but that will force him to back as he goes very, very low.
That is going to be a very scary Sivir. You don't want to give Sivir so early on a double buff. I mean, no one wants to give the ADC a double buff, but especially to Sivir because she has such high damage on Ricochet and the Boomerang.
But so far, it's been Dejiwo in that bot lane. I talked about he likes to play this aggressive style. And so far, that's exactly what we're seeing out of him. Making sure those bushes are clear of wards. There just hasn't been anything placed inside them, which means Dejiwo can stand at the end of the bush and wait for the stuns to come up. However, here's a gank out of Bakudan in the top lane. A lot of damage actually coming down. The red buff doing a pretty good chunk as well, but Aotaka going to manage to slice dice. Thinks about going back and will actually stick around in that lane. So yeah, Bakudan backing.
Aotaka's still taking a lot of damage from that, but yeah, that gank was not going to be successful just because you're not going to tower dive so early because there's no big burst coming out from Pantheon and Shyvana so early in the game.
It'll be interesting. And oh, there's the flash because you can see him trying to dive. So a really good job there of Bakudan forcing that flash out. He thought about backing. It kind of cost him maybe a first dive, but he comes back for number 2, and they do get the flash. However, in this bot lane, if you want to take a look at this,
you can see Deju already setting up his positioning.
Rojo just now hitting level 3. Lucian's at probably about just hitting 5, so it's a 2-level advantage for the AD carry. And Deju at 4 as well with that stun up.
It's very interesting to see Pantheon spending so much time in the top lane because it shows that Ozone would know what's going to happen because they know where Pantheon is. And so Elise can gank. Like I just said, Elise can gank, and they did get the kill onto Ziggs.
And I'll tell you what, Elise landing her cocoon makes it real easy for Gragas to hit his barrel. And that's exactly what it was, hitting level 6, picking up that kill. Again, that's Honekawa for the Tigers. not normally in the mid lane, is going to give up a kill to Envy. Envy actually one of the better players for Ozone as well. As we do see pings coming out, Elise trying to look at Pantheon in the jungle is going to force him off of those, as we might see some action in the bot lane.
Yeah, we see Gragas and Elise already coming down. Everybody is coming down, so it's going to be a 4v4. Everybody is kind of congregating at the red buff area. But nobody seems to want to engage or initiate the fight.
Yeah, you can see Rojo and Real Girl Support just backing away there. They knew they were both in the jungle. One thing I'd like to point out really quick here, you talked about Mehmedin. I don't even know how to say his new name. He used to be Medomedin. But the AD carry for Ozone being at that challenger level, it's really starting to show. They're harassing that lane so hard. Melon now picking up the BF sword, 60 farm to 29 on Rojo's Sivir. So that's double the farm already in that bot lane.
Yeah, and it goes to show because Sivir, even though she has a really strong burst in terms of Ricochet and Boomerang, she has an incredible small auto attack range. And so, you know, with Lucian's passive as well, he can really outfarm Sivir early in the game. And with a challenger tier player like Meron, you are going to expect him to bully Sivir out of lane in this early game.
Right, and you can't give him all the credit, because like we said, Dejiwoo as well, just doing a fantastic job on that Annie. And like you mentioned, Sivir with that short auto attack range, you don't want to get anywhere close to Annie right now. There's such burst coming out of that lane.
Yeah, like we said, you know, it's a kill lane, it's a kill potential lane. It's going to be very aggressive in terms of just because it's Annie and Lucian, but more so because it's Dejiwoo on that Annie. And you know, now that she got the first blood and she got more items on her hands, she's going to be more confident in playing a little bit more aggressive in that lane.
Right, and actually, right now, kills aside, lanes are going pretty well in favor of Ozone. The farm in mid lane and top lane as well in favor of Rampage. You take a look at the mid laners items, both Ziggs and Gragas have that Chalice of Harmony. The Doran's Ring on Ziggs is a pretty standard start, and Gragas actually opting for the Crystalline Flask, so in addition to his W, he's going to be able to basically stay in lane forever until he runs out of charges on that.
Yeah, but it's really interesting to see what's going to happen in that top lane too, because nothing's going to be really explosive until either of the junglers come in. But the bottom turret is already getting chunked down to a quarter of its health left. It's not going to be standing still for the next 2-3 waves. It's going to be cleared out really, really soon.
Yeah. It's also interesting, in that top lane, Aotaka opting for the early pickaxe, so it looks like probably building into that Tiamat.
We are going to see a huge fight coming in bot lane. Annie is now level 6, and Rojo he needs to back out of this lane. He is going to get jumped on. They have enough burst to jump and tower dive onto him, especially with that Flash Tibbers.
Yeah, and so you can actually see that playing out right there. They're placing that ward and just getting out of there. They're basically going to have to give up that bottom tower for free because they can't afford to stick around now with Tay down there as well. And that will be the first turn of the game for Ozone Rampage.
10 minutes into the game. Yeah, so you can see already a huge terms of global goal advantage to Ozone already. They're already on a 2.5k global goal advantage now. So very early goal lead coming in for Ozone Rampage at 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's a gold advantage, and it's also a level advantage. If you take a look across the board, right now, with Ziggs just hitting 8, he does manage to match. No, actually, MV9 now. So it's just that top lane. As we do get the top lane coming out of Bakudan. That's a grand Skyfall. Aotaka trying to take Cocoon down. Not going to be enough damage as the Dragon form comes out across there as well. So, you know, we talk about Ozone doing all this right. They do pick up a dragon there as well. So that might have just been Tora saying, we know we can't take the dragon. We're going to try and get something out of it. And they pick up a top laner as well as put a lot of damage here on this top turret. There's nobody rotating, so that should be the turret for the Okinawa Tigers.
Yeah, there is a lot of action coming out in bot lane though. So Envy has actually come down, just roam down bot. I think they want to engage onto this, but they are getting a little bit too deep, and Shyvana is going to continue to push that. But as we say that, Aotaka is coming back into lane.
All right, yeah, so that was actually Envy. He tried to pick up Rojo with his ultimate there, just missing a little bit in front, doing a pretty good chunk of damage because Sivir, obviously no real items apart from that Vamp Scepter right now. but knocked her in the wrong direction. So that she's going to live to farm another day. But it's, again, 103 farm to 60 farm.
And it's very interesting too, because what we want to talk about a little bit of the gank before. So really nice man drop Grand Skyfall coming in from Bakudan to really secure that kill for Shyvana. She really needs that in this early to mid game stage, because if she falls behind without a kill, it's going to spell disaster for the Okinawa Tigers, because they are already losing a lot in terms of the laning phase. The bot lane is losing out a lot already, and so we just see a very friendly banter come from Cocoon and Aotaka right now.
Yeah, and so actually, Sivir now managing to pick up that BF sword, but is still a whole tier 2 boots item behind in that bot lane. And we do see the Tiamat coming out of Aotaka in that top lane. I like this pickup because he's been doing a pretty good job of bullying Shyvana. Shyvana now finishing the Sunfire, but it allows Renekton to kind of continue bullying her.
It's interesting to see too that Renekton is taking the Tiamat instead of the standard, or what you can call standard meta Sunfire Cape for a Renekton early game. So he wants to go for a little bit more damage in terms of just sustaining in lane.
Right, it gives him the damage, and it also gives him that push, which, now that Shyvana does have that Sunfire Cloak, Shyvana is a pretty darn good pushing champion. And it's going to allow Aotaka to push the lane back, but he's actually starting to fall behind a little bit in that top lane. So, as we do see some action, blue buff coming down, Repel coming out of Tay. Will it be enough? A lot of damage coming back.
Oh!
Flashing into the very middle of the Super Mega Inferno Bomb. And it's not over yet. Real Girl support catching up. Support battle. Flash comes over the wall from Rojo. Stun coming out from Annie. Will it be enough? A lot of damage actually from Embi's Gragas. Aotaka maybe going to try and turn this around. But here comes Lissandra, Real Girl support. They're not actually going to pick anything else.
They didn't manage to finish anything else, but because of everyone else being so low, they can actually push this middle turret and get it for free. But no, actually, because that barrel came out from Gragas, they might just push this on because no one has. Oh.
A lot of damage coming up from Annie. Lissandra actually picking up one kill here. Ziggs looks to go down to the Ignite, but they will probably pick up NB. Will it be enough? Actually, Tay getting here. He died so early in the last fight. He's back already. There is Rojo picking up one. Tay's going to pick up one, and here comes Melon trying to clean this fight up. Rojo's gonna
this is where she get the last out of a second! Sivir lives! So, Rojo actually survives that.
Down at all. So wow, a huge series of events there. The ward on the blue buff for Ozone let them try to go steal it. Didn't go well. Tay actually dropping to the Mega Inferno Bomb. A lot of chase coming out from the Tigers. Chase so long, they got the middle turret. While that was going on, Melon picked up this bottom tier 2 turret. And Aotaka just picked up the first tier turret in the top lane as well.
Yeah, that was actually, let's talk about what happened in that fight. It was very acute, desperate move coming out from the Okinawa Tigers. They really wanted something. Am I really loud? I'm sorry. I'm gonna talk a little bit softer as I always am. But yeah, I mean, that was such a desperate move coming out from the Okinawa Tigers because they really wanted that middle turret. They wanted to get something out of the fights that came out, but they didn't expect Gragas to be still in lane. They only thought that any Dejiro is left on the lane, and they lost a lot out of that actually. But they did manage to secure the turret though.
Well, they did. They actually left Cocoon tanking that turret so they could take it down, and while he was tanking it, Dejiwoo dropped his ult, which was what allowed Tay to get back into that fight and Melon to come up from the bottom lane. So they do take the mid turret. It's 2 more towers, however, for Ozone. Take a look at the gold. It's about 2,500 in favor of Ozone. That's the extra tower. That's the dragon so far. And just a little bit better farm as well coming out. Actually, you take a look at the bot lane again. It's 70 farm in favor of Melon. So that's going to start to get real big as we do see a man drop coming down in the mid lane. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. A nice satchel charge coming out of Honekawa. Here comes the ultimate as well. Bakudan's going to be able to pick that one up. Aotaka here looking for something, but runs into the rest of the Okinawa Tigers. It's going to be ulted on by Real Girl support. A double kill coming across the Bakudan as Cocoon shows up late to the party. And really good play out of the Okinawa Tigers there, capitalizing on, well, Rampage was just a little bit out of position there, trying to push all the lanes, and they do pick up 2 kills.
Yeah, I really like what Bakudan did with the man drop the Grand Skyfall. He didn't manage to get the stun off of Envy on Gragas, but what he did was try to confuse Gragas into thinking, you know, I'm going to wait for the drop to come and then body slam away. But what he didn't know is that, you know, Ziggs can satchel him out of position and have Pantheon with the stun coming out later, and of course that Super Mega Inferno Bomb to finish it off.
Right. You have to, if you take a look at Ziggs right now, he's actually working towards that death cap. He's got both the Blasting Wand and the Needlessly Large Rod. So a pretty decent amount of AP sitting at 184. Not huge, but we'll get that completed
coming out, and it's going to be a very big, explosive fight here at the Dragon. You know, Okinawa Tigers is kind of getting out of position right here, but you want to stick together as a 5 so they can really jump in, but they know that Grand Skyfall is not available, with the Mega Inferno Bomb not being available as well. But this is very, very dangerous for both teams.
And actually the Cocoon lands on Cocoon, which is going to force him to use his ultimate onto the rest of the team. A lot of kills going down. Total pick up 2, and it actually looks like Ozone might have to run away from this fight, as there is a ton of damage now coming across on Melon.
They need to stop this middle.
And that will do it. Rojo is now actually on a killing spree. Bakudan looking for Envy. Envy, unless you've got something tricky up your sleeve, I don't know if you're getting out of this. The stun actually lands right before the body slam goes off. And another kill coming across the Honekawa. And
I love Honekawa on the Ziggs because he has not missed any of his Inferno Mega Bombs as of yet. Right. He has done all his ultimates perfectly timed and has gotten a kill or an assist every time he uses his ultimate.
Yeah, right, you can actually see Ziggs is on 10 of the 11 kills for the Tigers right now.
Kill participation is at 90% for him. It is incredible. It's how this team is still sustaining so much. And actually, they are in the lead now. Honekawa is getting caught out, and he's going to drop right there.
And that was... It all kind of started with an unfortunate satchel charge, trying to delay the rest of Rampage. Actually bounced Annie even closer. He was running for his life until Tay finally said, I've had enough of this. Flash Cocoon.
Oh,
and
Tay!
They're actually looking for Tay now. This is not good. He's going to have to repel. Not enough. No, doesn't have to. But it does actually buy his team enough time to pick up that middle turret.
Yeah, like it's a huge turn of events now. So Rojo, Okinawa Tigers is now in the lead 11-6 with a 300 goal lead. Not that big, it's not big at all, but they did manage to get the deficit back into their favor right now. So it's really good for Okinawa Tigers. I think the last Dragon fight was really good for them because it was a huge initiate coming out from the Okinawa Tigers, but Pantheon did manage to smite out the Dragon in the end. So that was really good play coming out from the Okinawa Tigers.
Right, and right now, if you look at the gold totals for all members of these teams, it's so close. I kept talking about the farm difference, but right now, Rojo's sitting at 3-0-4. He's been farming these champions. The gold difference there is still about 700 in favor of Melon, but you can actually see both of them with completed Bloodthirsters. Melon picking up the Zeal, and Sivir just going for more damage on top of that, has the pickaxe as her next item. So even with that huge farm deficit, Sivir's starting to get pretty scary as well. Death cap completed on Honekawa as well. And like you mentioned earlier, the way he's hitting his ultimates, you do not want to get hit by it now. With that death cap completed, we're going up to 240. So obviously there's not a whole lot of other AP items on him right now, but the way we've seen it so far, he doesn't need it.
Yeah, I think Rojo is doing so well because he's got all the kills in his favor. He hasn't died once in this game. He has 3 kills and 4 assists in this game. So that kind of, you know, balances out all that CS deficit that he's getting from against Melon.
Hey, Ferlin, do you want to play a game real quick?
Yes, of course.
It's called Can You Find the MR Items on Ozone's team?
Can I find the MR items? Is this a thing now? What is this? So, yeah.
As I say that, Altaka does now have the Megatron cloak, but
yeah,
that's why Ziggs is hitting so hard right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's still only 21 minutes into the game. Neither side really building anything in terms of defense. It's
right. I'm not surprised to even see the Banshee's build coming out later in the game for 1 or 2 more of this for the Ozone players, because you need to kind of stop Ziggs in any of his, at least one of his abilities. So you want to make sure that you don't get hit completely by the Ziggs skill shots.
All right, and you guys see the pings coming out with Rojo actually in the bot lane pushing by himself. This could be a good opportunity for Ozone to push, but the wave clear out of Ziggs, he does have both the Chalice and the blue buff. Should be more than enough to kind of stop the push out of Rampage. And actually there you can see the damage coming across on Tay. Not an insignificant amount.
It is significant in terms that he has a lot of armor items. He has a Giant's Belt and he has a Cloak, so he has a lot of in terms of armor, and he's still getting bursted down a good amount, I would say.
Yeah, you can actually look at those bombs landing onto Tay, and it's starting to hurt, but there's the initiate coming out of Deju, and that's why you still buy that coin. The speed and the flash, actually forcing Shyvana to ultimate away from this. Real Girl Support's going to have to use his stun to keep Gragas at bay as well, but Ziggs died right at the beginning of that. And Cocoon's going to go down as well. It's not over, as actually they do pick up one. Will it be Bakudan going down to the Ignite? The flash is coming out, but it's Rojo. They forgot about Rojo, who's the strongest member of the Okinawa Tigers. It's
so
Rojo alive right now.
So Rojo actually did a really beautiful underhunt and managed to juke out everyone on the team. And look at him, he's full health at the end of the fight. No one actually remembered, oh wait, there is a Sivir in this team. They all went for that, and you saw Meron actually flash just to secure the kill onto Bakudan.
Right, they went really hard, and it was pretty chaotic under that tower, but you have to start looking at Rojo. He's sitting now at 6-0-5, and with that last Whisper completed as well, we are finally starting to see some armor items. We've got Warden's Mail on Elise now, but before it was just Renekton with the Sunfire Cape, and boy, Sivir's starting to get pretty scary.
Yeah, I don't know what Honekawa was thinking, because he got completely caught out of position. He shouldn't have positioned himself that way, because he knows, everyone knows, that Annie has Flash Tibbers. You don't want to be caught out of position that way. It is an insta-kill onto Honekawa. He didn't have a chance to even put down any of his skill shots.
Yeah, it was a really good talisman of Ascension out of Dejuo there. But a lot of actually zoning coming out of Honekawa there, and that allows Tora to pick up another essentially free dragon. It'll be interesting to see now. It looks like they're all going to group and maybe push this mid lane.
Yeah, so now they are with a more or less a 3,000 gold lead coming out from Okinawa no Tigers now. So it's interesting to see how this game is going to be played out, because that last fight was very crazy, because Honekawa was taken out of the game immediately. And look at this, it's getting caught out of position again.
Speaking of Honekawa getting caught, there's Envy with a nice ultimate onto Honekawa. Honekawa actually having to flash over the wall to get away from that. But now what this means is that Ozone does not have the Gragas ultimate. As we do see some pings coming around, some ward clearing around Baron. It's maybe a little early for that, especially with the Gragas ultimate down.
No, I don't think they want to do Baron now. I think they're just baiting in and just making sure that they have the vision, and they clear out vision from Okinawa Tigers. That's really important. You don't want to get caught in one of the bushes coming in.
And here comes the engage. They know Envy's ultimate is down. On the hunt has been popped. Tibbers out, and Real Girl Support is going to melt immediately. Cocoon, though, doing his best dragon impression inside all of the members of this team. He's going to actually have to run away as a lot of damage comes his way. Rojo now, is he going to be able to duel Melon? Barrier coming out. Double kill, though, from Bakudan. There are more than one source of AD damage on this team. Bakudan showing that. And it will be a triple kill from Bakudan, supported by Rojo. Ends up being a 2-for-3 exchange in favor of the Tigers. Tay very low as well.
It looked like a really bad fight for the Okinawa Tigers early in the engage, but because of the amount of armor that Shyvana has, she zoned out at least 2 members of Ozone Rampage's main source of damage, and they couldn't do anything about that. And came in Bakudan from the back line, managed to get 2 kills, double kill immediately, and then turn around with Rojo's help to secure himself a triple kill.
Yeah, so that was pretty fantastic. And that's just Shyvana. You get those bonus resistances when you turn into a dragon, able to try and 3v1 the enemy team for a bit, which allows the rest of your team to kind of clean up. And when you talk about cleanup, well, you don't need a lot. And Pantheon actually building a lot of damage. Maw of Malmortius, Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and a Brutalizer on him. So,
I mean, to be fair, he does have that Giant's Belt to give him a little bit of armor protection. But yes, he is going for a lot of that damage instead of trying to tank up for his team.
So right now it's Bakudan and Rojo versus the world. Both of them actually sitting with 6 kills, 8 assists.
But to be honest, I think it's a great build coming up from Bakudan because you don't need that armor as Pantheon because Cocoon on Shyvana is enough for the team. If you can have a Shyvana that understands how much damage and how much armor that she has and how long she can sustain in the fight and how many people she can zone up by herself, it's so good to have the communication in the team. It's enough. It's enough for the team to have one Shyvana to zone out at least 2 members of the opposition team.
Yeah, and you got to know Bakudan's enjoying this. When you're playing jungle and you have the 2nd most gold in the game, you're having a pretty good time. So both Rojo and Bakudan sitting at over 10,000 gold. Melomelon just breaking the 10,000 gold mark as well. You can see that kind of reflected in their items. Melomelon finishing that Triforce, so he's getting another power spike in there as well. But the Phantom Dancer now complete for Rojo on the other side. So right now, it's going to be really interesting to see when the next fight occurs and who's going to force that next fight. Because right now, the Tigers are kind of in the driver's seat.
Yeah, if you have it on the hunt, and if you know that Annie doesn't have a flash Tibus, they can really engage the fight. But once again, if they don't know that timing, Dejiwo can really counter that with at least a 2 or 3 man flash Tibus.
All right, so we can actually see some ward clear coming out. There's a lot of wards here near and around the Baron area, and that might just be the Tigers' cue now to push in this mid lane. It's only the inhibitor turret is left, and you can see actually the zone potential coming out of Honekawa as well. So a big shout out to him. He's 2-4-9, not the best, but playing pretty well, doing a lot of damage when you consider he's not a mid lane player.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He has 14 out of the 18 kill participation, so that's really, really good coming up from him. He has landed some really impressive Inferno bombs.
All right, and so looks like they're just going to send Rojo to the bot lane to farm. And we talk about the kills making him big. He's now only 15 farm down to Lucian. It only took 30 minutes, but looks like he's going to try to catch up. As we see a missed ultimate coming out of Envy. It hit Honekawa, but knocked him in the wrong direction. He actually used the flash and the body slam. It wasn't enough there. So that could be the Tigers' cue to engage. There's the double AoE. Bakudan falling from the sky. Another, in Japanese, explosion Bakudan falling from the sky. It's actually not going to be a double kill coming up from Aotaka, and Melon doing a lot of damage as well. Wow, things going very poorly for the Tigers in this fight.
Yeah, Rojo was completely out of that fight as well, and now Melon has secured the kill onto Bakudan. Oh, Cocoon, sorry. And they might want to consider going in for this Baron, but they are all very, very low, and this might be a 1v1 from Rojo and Melon. But nope, they're not going to go in for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fight.
Oh, Tay, you are going to get caught out. No!
But the rest of his team is here. So they do...
And he lives!
Wow, he lives through that. So
Tay lives through that. Oh, that repel.
You might be able to take away from that as the Tigers. Ozone was pretty low already, so it was a question as to whether or not they wanted to take Baron. Now with the rest of the Tigers coming up, Ozone is just going to have to back away from this Baron to take it another day. But boy, everything went really well for Ozone in that fight. I think the Tigers had the right idea. They knew Gragas didn't have an ultimate. They brought both ultimates from Pantheon and Ziggs down onto basically the entire team. Mystic, not spot on that time. But Rojo was actually still coming up the river and was separated from the rest of that fight. And when your 608 80 carry is not in the fight to begin with, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, that was very crazy for them. Everyone got taken out so early in the game, and it's good that I thought it was a good thing that Rojo died for the Ozone Rampage.
This is really dangerous right now.
Oh, the Death Rush!
Have no vision whatsoever. Ozone waiting in this bush.
Look at Rojo, he's roaming free right now.
But it looks like it won't be enough. He's doing what he can. Who's going to come out on top of this fight?
It's
wow,
a 2-for-1 right now.
2-for-1. So a fight that for all intents and purposes should have gone very, very poorly for the Tigers. Going somewhat okay, again, because of this AoE kind of composition. You have a dragon flying over the top. You have a Lissandra. Another Mega Inferno Bomb hitting, I think, 4 members.
It hit one.
Oh, it only landed on one.
It landed on Dejiro. That was the only part. He had a really good idea of where to drop it, but unfortunately,
everybody just moved in time.
Everybody just sidestepped just in time to get away from that range of it, and so it was, it was sad coming out from the Tigers. But once again, you've got caught out. That is a death rush. You never ever want to face check that. They did face check it, but in terms of, just being close by and not having vision, it's going to be really bad for the team.
Right, so you can actually finally see a couple wards from the Tigers getting up around that barrier area, and that was real girl support clearing out some of Ozone wards. But the whole reason that fight happened is because they didn't have wards on Baron. You saw the pings coming out from the Tigers saying, hey, they might be doing this. Well, it's a really good way to bait yourself into death. And they're really, really fortunate it didn't go much worse for them there.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared for the Tigers right now because they had the potential to close out the game really fast early on, maybe like 5-10 minutes ago. But right now, Ozone seems to be having a really big comeback for them. And because of how poorly the fights have been going for the Okinawa Tigers, they haven't been choosing the best fights. And because Hanegawa hasn't been very involved in this fight in the last 2 or 3 fights. And so Ozone Rampage have gotten back one very important thing. They have gotten back confidence with themselves.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're sitting at over 100,000 total gold, and the gold difference here is only 3,000 about. Kills are even, towers are even. You take a look at builds down there. Pretty close. I'm looking at them right now. You can actually see Sivir finishing her Yomu's Ghost Blade.
So if you look at the items coming from Ozone Rampage, they don't want to fight that 6. You can see there's 2 Randuin's Omens coming out from Renekton and from the Elise, and look at that, there's a Mega Cloak coming out from Lucian, as well as the Mikael Crucibles coming out for Annie, to make sure that Lucian is safe in the fights.
Right, and I really like that pickup because as Annie, especially at this point in the game, as actually we might see an engage from Real Girl support, gets in, actually goes a little bit too far, is going to be melted almost immediately. The question is, can the Tigers follow it up? Dejiwa is going to go down to Bakudan. A lot of damage coming out from the Tigers. Things are looking really good as Rojo manages to sit in the back, absolutely untouched. That's why you pick up Shyvana. That's Cocoon on the front line, keeping everybody away from your AD carry.
Oh, look at Gragas is still sitting behind.
So that's
full
the only
health.
His ult is down, so he's not going to be able to do this full burst combo. And I think with the damage right now coming out of Bakudan and Rojo, it's just too much. Gragas is going to have to back. And a really, really good fight coming out of the Okinawa Tigers. So that was Real Girl support. You can see him actually going over the wall with his fist of ice. Actually got melted pretty quick, but managed to use his ultimate. And really, that was Cocoon getting in everybody's face. And Rojo in the back destroying basically everything. You can't take it away. Bakudan was in there too, doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, Bakudan actually came in at the exact right time. He was a little bit late to the fight, but that was what he needed because Cocoon actually managed to zone out 2 players first. And so when Bakudan came in, it was at the exact right time and the exact amount of damage that he needs to do against the Ozone Rampage. And now that they have Baron, they want to group up and push down at least the 2nd tier turrets on the top and the bottom lane.
Right, and the other thing there, Honekawa didn't go down in that fight, so they had their AP carry alive for that as well, dealing out the deeps. Actually interesting to see that Ziggs has not picked up a Lichbane. I think that's an item that's really strong on him, but instead opting for, well, we'll see what he does. He's got the Void Staff, which is another really good item, but Now with the Tigers, 3 members of their team do have that Baron buff. I think we're just going to see maybe Ozone try and turtle it out now for the next 4 minutes.
Yeah, they need to just play a little bit more defensive coming in. They are pushing out all 3 lanes, and which is a good thing for them because right now the Okinawa Tigers are grouping up. They are not split pushing into anything yet, but they are pinging down for that bot lane. So they want to push out their bot lane. They want to get that in a tier turret for the bot lane because they need to get all this global objectives first because the turrets are even right now. It's 4 for 4.
Yeah, so we do have pings coming out all over the map. Not a lot of wards now for Rampage. Actually, not a lot of wards for anybody right now as the map has been nearly wiped clear of them. The Tigers do have good vision.
Deji wall! Oh, wow!
Melted. That's why you build straight AP. You don't need the Lich Bane when your skills do that much damage. No auto attacks going off over that wall.
So now the Okinawa Tigers are going to be really aggressive because they know there's not going to be a flash chip as the main source of initiation is going to be cancelled out for them right now.
And that should, basically let them walk on this turret. The ultimate coming out of Gragas, but it hits Cocoon. It knocks Cocoon into Melamelon, actually. So that's not where he wants to be. Cocoon will actually go down. But I think all in all, that's going to be a pretty good fight for the Tigers. They trade their tanky top laner for an inhibitor.
Wow, that's a very, very crazy fight in terms that they were all diving into the base
but it's not over yet. Here comes Envy. Will there be enough speed coming out? Looks like Rojo will actually be able to get away. The Ghost Blade being popped a little bit earlier, giving him a little bit of extra movement speed there as well. Real Girl support setting up for maybe a re-engage. Ultimate is not available to him. Annie back up as well, so it's probably in the best interest of the Tigers just to get out of here.
They have a ward down there, so they know that they're a dragon. This is going to be really bad for the Tigers. They did it pretty fast, so it's okay. No harm done there, but that was a crazy fight. They dived in there without the turret being down. Oh, Dick!
Mega Inferno used to steal the blue buff, and here comes Bakudan. It's actually going to miss, but the flash coming out of Rojo, he is not done yet, going real hard. Maybe a little bit too hard. He gets caught by 2 ultimates, one from Annie, one from Gragas, and now Ozone. They're on the rampage. They're going to try and turn this fight around.
This is bad. Cocoon was completely not in the fight. He was in base. He just spawned out. And I didn't know why they wanted to turn back the fight on there, but it's good that Ozone Rampage didn't really know that, you know, the entire team wasn't there. If they knew that Cocoon wasn't there, they are going to be re-engaging like very aggressively. But luckily for the Okinawa Tigers, Ozone Rampage didn't have any vision in terms of Cocoon not being there.
Yeah, and that unfortunately was almost just like a miscommunication. You saw Ziggs trying to pick up, and he actually did pick up the steal of the blue buff with his Mega Inferno Bomb. Looked like it might have landed on a couple members of Ozone, but they managed to run away from it. And Bakudan still went in on that, which meant the rest of his team had to back him up. And it did not go well for his team. Rojo, just because you're 7-2-12 doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. His Infinity Edge, though, he's very, very strong right now. Some people kind of, you know, I said, what? Yomu's Ghostblade. I actually really like that pickup with an Infinity Edge.
It's very aggressive right now. He's playing
even more critical.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive Sivir right now. He's basically mostly fully just damaged. Doesn't have any defensive items at all. On the other hand, we do see Metal with the Megatron Cloak, so he has a little bit of a defensive item there for himself. But overall, a really good fight coming in from Okinawa Tigers.
Yeah, so right now, Sivir is going to, when she uses her ultimate, her attack speed is going to be through the roof, and she's got a 60% critical chance, which is kind of why we see, I think we see the Ghost Blade, which is giving her the critical and the attack speed, and even more movement speed.
Yeah, and also,
that's how Rose's been playing.
Yeah, and also can't afford to give all the attention to the top lane because the bot lane is going to be pushing in very, very hard in terms of they lost an inhibitor turret as well, so it's going to be a very aggressive and fast pushing lanes coming out from the Okinawa Tigers now, even though they don't have Baron buff anymore.
Yeah, and so they're trying to push down this top turret. There's pretty good wave clear coming out from Ozone, but a lot of damage is now going to come across. Cocoon now actually got his Randuins, and the ultimate from Shyvana going the wrong direction as we get a ultimate coming out of Gragas. But that was a beautiful Mega Inferno bomb. That was a Mega Inferno. Can the Tigers follow it up? Damage coming out that will be Shyvana dropping. All of Ozone's going to walk away from this, but all of Ozone's going to walk away from this with very, very low health. With the Pantheon shield, it's going to allow them to pick up the turret. That's an open.
Look at Rojo.
Rojo, you need to get out of here. Look at the damage coming across. He melts. Not enough attack speed. It looks like he actually had his Ghost Blade available. Didn't use it to try and get out of there. Again, that's what we've seen out of Rojo. Getting a little too far up.
I don't know. Did you see what he did? He wanted to have at least one hit onto the inhibitor. And everyone was backing, and he was the last one to back out of there and was just caught out of position. And this is not the first time we've seen Rojo did this. This is at least the second or third time in this game alone that we've seen him do this.
Right. So I think all three of his deaths have kind of been these overextensions, whether it's getting that last hit on the turret or just pushing a little bit too hard, flashing over a wall for a kill you maybe shouldn't go for, as the pings now come on Baron, and it's going to be gone before the Tigers even get there.
The Mega Inferno Bomb comes in, and oh, the Grand Skyfall is coming in as well!
Oh, the timing was just about spot on.
Oh,
really good strike coming out to keep it for his team.
Digiwo!
Digiwo's down, so there's no Annie there. The ultimate coming out, gonna pick up the support, so both supports down here. The question is, where's the damage? Where's the follow-up gonna come? Support's missing for both teams, but here comes a Baron buff, Ozone. Melon, a lot of damage. He's got his last Whisper to go along with his Triforce's Bloodthirster. But look at the damage coming out of Ziggs.
Oh.
And as we talk about damage coming out of Ziggs, here's the damage coming onto Ziggs. That's to use that Hourglass, which basically delays the inevitable.
I didn't know why he went to chase, because Ziggs has such good wave clear. He shouldn't have to chase, and it's a Baron buffed Ozone Rampage. This is a very, very bad fight coming out from both carries. They have not had good decision making in terms of individual play.
Ziggs is really your wave clear to keep them off of these turrets, and now without that available, Ozone is marching right through them. There goes the middle inhibitor turret. There goes the middle inhibitor. So just like that, it's still a 5,000 gold lead advantage for the Tigers. But if you want to talk about a momentum lead, Ozone now managing to pick up that inhibitor as their very own has respawned. Real girl support using the Talisman of Ascension to try and catch up. Looks like it's going to be a little, too late. As Ozone now just going to try and reset everything.
That is really, really good from Ozone Rampage. And the only reason why they managed to do that was because Honekawa was just completely caught out of position. And
there was 4,000 gold on Melon right there, by the way.
Oh, wow. And with the GAs being bought as well.
So in one back, he just finished his his Infinity Edge and picked up a GA. So if you thought he was scary before, you can see he's also carrying his team, sitting at 9, 3, and 12. So,
which is not a surprise, coming that he is Mirom. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Double Randuins.
Yeah, I'm very, very surprised at the decision making coming in from both carries in Okinawa no Tora, because I think the main reason why they're struggling is because of the poor decision making coming in from Siva and Ziggs. They have been initiating and just overextending their positions and getting caught out of positions. I really don't see why Ziggs should have pushed that lane before that, because he had so much weight that he doesn't need to, chase after Ozone Rampage, especially with a Cocoon Elise. That is very dangerous for him. He's so squishy right now, because all he has is AP right now. He doesn't have any defensive strats for him at all.
And we just saw the Talisman being blown from Real Girl support. So now Rojo, without that speed burst, they do still have the Sivir ultimate, but they're not going to want to get caught out here, as we now see the amulet coming out of Dejiwo. Probably won't be enough to catch up in time, as these teams just kind of run away from each other. Probably a pretty smart decision by the Tigers. Let that lane push into their tower, see if they can fight there, because the Baron buff is still up for not much longer here on Ozone. And you can see Ozone trying to make the most of it while it lasts, as they've got this bottom tower in their sights.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be really bad for Okinawa because they have been having really bad fights, and now it's a Baron buffed up, and they can push this very, very easily.
Yeah, and here we go. You see the damage. Melon right now with all of that AD and with the Triforce doing so much, and here comes the engage. Goodbye, real golden support. Access uses ultimate on himself not to die. Cocoon goes in, Cocoon melts. Here comes even more damage. Aotaka going very deep. Tay with a lot of damage, and it's Melon putting a ton of damage all across the back of the Tiger. That's why they're going extinct. Here is the Rampage coming. That's going to be the first Nexus turret. She will be the second Nexus turret. Rojo doing his best, but even if he picks up a kill on Dejiwoo, it's not going to matter as the rest of Rampage focusing that Nexus, and that will be game 1 going in favor of Ozone Rampage.
Victory. Yep, first game going into Ozone Rampage because of the poor decision making coming out from Ziggs and Sivir. It cost them the game. It cost them the Baron buff, and it cost it. Yeah, and the last couple of fights have been so terrible for them, and they just allow Ozone Rampage to just continue getting back into the game. And it's a very long, drawn out first game, but the victory in the end did go to Ozone Rampage.
Yeah, and so you guys can't actually see this right now. Actually, both AD carries in that game. Sivir doing 32,000, Lucian doing 33,000. Interestingly enough, Ziggs doing 52,000 damage, leading all scorers in that, but it did not matter. As like we said, wow, actually, I'm looking at the totals here, and there was a ton more damage dealt out by the Tigers. That doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, and if you look at the end score, Lucian, Middle had 11, 3, and 13 at the end of the game. It's pretty crazy. Considering that he was 0, 1, and 2 at the start, and he was at 1.01 and 2, and Sivir was at 3, 0, and 4. And you can tell how much individual skill that Middle has in order to carry his team by the end of the game. You know, it's all about being patient and waiting it out if you have a deficit at first. But once this team starts to snowball, you can really see how Middle is a challenger tier player.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. This is where you kind of start to see the fact that Ozone is an established team. They've been in the Japanese League of Legends scene basically since it started. And in a situation where you're down like that, you just got to play it out, wait for the mistakes to come. And the Tigers, a very, very new team to the scene, kind of maybe showing that greenness a little bit there. Not able to finish it out, making those mistakes. And that's what allowed Rampage to just come back and basically take the game fairly easily at the end there. So,
yeah, I'm just waiting for the teams to settle back, have a little bit of a break, and decide to, you know, create the game again. As Rapid just texts me on.
Hello, Rapid.
It's just good luck.
You lovely, lovely man, boy, you.
Yeah, he never sleeps. I don't know why. He's too busy. Man is too busy to sleep.
Yeah. Well, you should talk for a second. I'm going to take a quick sip of my... I should be drinking water, but I'm drinking a brand of cola that I will not disclose.
Yes, I will continue talking. If you're just joining us, this is the JCG Japan Competitive Gaming. It is the Premier League semifinals 2. It is between the Okinawa no Tora, Okinawa Tigers, versus Ozone Rampage. First game was just played, and the first game was given to the Ozone Rampage, and we are going to go into game 2 very, very soon. We're just waiting on the teams to settle in, to get a bit of a break, and as I will take a sip of water as well.
Not a bad idea. For those of you looking for a laugh, it's going to be a long one coming, but when we get into the next game, if you want to LOL Nexus and check out Rojo's rune page or check it out on LOL King, I guess I'm still a 5-year-old at heart, but I'm giggling at that right now.
That is cute.
I won't spoil the surprise for those of you. But yeah, so that was game 1 going to Ozone Rampage here. It's the semifinals of 2014 Season 1 JCG Premier League action. The Okinawa Tigers. And I guess we should point out that that was not the original lineup for the Tigers. They're playing with a sub, which isn't much of an excuse, but might account for a little bit of that decision making.
Yeah, Yeah, he played so well early on in the game, and it's such a pity that, it was really just individual poor decision making, because you can tell that when they are a team and they go into team fights, it's really good. But once you step out of it and you see him just overextend it a little bit, which as an individual player you really shouldn't. And same with Siva, same with Rojo. He has such a great game. In fights he knows how to position himself, when to use underhand, how to use ricochet, and exact damage that Boomerang has. But he has overextended. All the 4 deaths, I think 4 or 5 deaths that he had, was basically from all that mistakes that he did.
Yeah, and so actually, I think Young, the normal mid player for the Tigers, does a lot of the shot calling for the Tigers. I could be wrong, but I think that's actually the case. And so not having them here, I think definitely hurts the way they're able to move around that map. But we'll have to see how they change it, see what they do, come out here in game 2. We're going to get that going pretty quickly here. This is, like I said earlier, the semifinals. We're going into game 2. It is a best of 3. So if the Okinawa Tigers can take game 2, we will move it to game 3. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Momentum definitely, I think, in favor of Rampage now, the way they were able to close out that game.
Yeah, so I just heard from the JCG people. They said プレイヤーが入れ替わってるのでちょっと待ってください. Basically means that I think
Are we gonna get Young back here, or
Young doesn't like his back here. It looks like the same 5 players. I don't know if that was a miscommunication or anything, but it looks like the same 5 players. It is real good support. Honekawa, Bakuran, Cocoon, and Rojo. So nothing as of yet. I'm just gonna ask them on game what's happening.
Yeah, you do that. So we are going to be here. Thank you, all of you, for joining us this evening or morning. It's what, boy? US, it's 6:30 Central Time. So if you're anywhere in the US, thanks for waking up, or thanks for staying up. If you're in Europe, I would assume that means it's closer to lunchtime. Thanks for spending your lunch break with us. And if you're here in Asia with us, it's your Friday night. Thanks for spending your Friday night here with League of Legends.
Yeah, I have no excuse. I wanted to go out with my friends tonight, but oh well, I have to be home. I have the classes, and by the time this is over, it will be too late, and I would need to stay home and probably catch a movie.
You have to cast? You mean you get to cast this?
Oh yeah. No, it's nice. It's nice to have just a quiet Friday evening, which all my Friday evening is, I always want to say, like, I'm going to go out, but at the end of the day, I'll be like, I'm tired. I want to go home, I just want to game and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I got home after work today and had a nice little dance party in my apartment. I could be having a dance party now because you can't see me, so who knows?
You could.
I could cast without pants and nobody would know. So it's kind of a nice change from being in the studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not believe him. No, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have pants on. Ugh.
So
you don't want to see that image. I'm just kidding. That is so mean. No.
Wait, have you seen me without pants?
Of course not. Ugh. Who wants to see that? God, I'm sorry. I'm being really mean. It's Friday,
It's all good.
It's end of the week. I'm really excited. I'm probably going to IKEA tomorrow to do like window shopping. Just do nothing. Just go out and buy things. But the teams are ready, and we're gonna go into game really soon. Hopefully, we are going to game soon.
Woohoo! So this is Okinawa Tora and Ozone Rampage Game 2. Winner of this match will actually go on to face Rascal Jester. And that's going to be for the JCG League of Legends Season 1 Championship. Oops. And that's tomorrow?
There you go. It is tomorrow, but unfortunately, me, are not available, and so we will not be playing. We'll not be casting the games tomorrow.
We're never playing. Okay?
We're never playing. We're just casting. But you guys want me to have like in-game, like when the game is playing, you want me to have my camera. I won't do that because, well, I'm not the one playing the games, and I'm just casting. I look stupid just talking and not playing.
We're all here to see you.
Let's not have that. But okay, let's go into the bans and picks. So Ozone Rampage is on the blue side this time around, and the Okinawa no Tora is on the purple side. The bans have come out is Vi, Yasuo, Cassidy, and LeBlanc. Nothing has changed. Complete same ban on each team as well.
Yeah,
So,
you're gonna have to basically take this.
right, so
It happens
previously
20 seconds early on your side.
Oh, okay, so Vi, Yasuo, Thresh for the bands coming from Ozone Rampage, the exact same bands from them previously on the purple side. And on the purple side right now, Okinawa Tora is Kassadin, LeBlanca, Leona as the 3 bands. Nothing has changed, no bands changed. And it's going to be the first pick coming out for Ozone Rampage. It is going to be Renekton. So I don't know if they want to play Elise this time round for Okinawa Tora because she's available right now. But the first pick coming out for the Tigers is going to be the same support before. It is going to be that Lysandra.
Does Aotaka play anything other than Renekton? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, they are going to pick that Elise away from...
Surprise.
They're going to take away Tay's Elise, which is really good because you don't want to give away both Renekton and Elise. I think he has. I think he's played Shyvana. I'm pretty sure he's played Shyvana and Renekton. I haven't seen him play different, like a Trundle maybe. He hasn't played a Trundle as far as I know.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's left open and it works for him, so they're going to lock that in. But like you said, it leaves that Elise open, and we are going to see Bakudan on that. So
yeah. And on the other side, Andy is still picking. He hasn't chosen anything right now, but Dejuo has locked in the Annie. So, oh, it is going to be Tay on Lee Sin. So we haven't seen Tay play Lee Sin in a while, I think. I'm not very sure. But it is very hard to play Lee Sin on NA server in terms of the pings that we have because it's like 120 to 160 ping here, and you know, what jumps are not that easy to accomplish with that amount of ping. But on the other side, it is going to be Honegawa on the 6 again. So we're gonna wait to see what Cocoon locks in or chooses or hovers around because he hasn't hovered on anything right now.
yeah, so that's it. I mean, that's just Honegawa, I think, saying, I'm not a mid laner. You're making me play mid lane. I'm gonna play Ziggs. That's my mid lane champion.
Yeah, and so Cocoon is actually hovering over either Shyvana or Wukong. I would say if it's a going top lane, he has to play Shyvana instead of Wukong because if you want to play Wukong, you have to play that in the jungle because he's such a strong jungler right now. You know, Cyclone is so good for knockups, but obviously you don't have Yasuo come in, but he is going to go for that Wukong instead of a Shyvana. I'm very surprised. I don't know if it's a good surprise, but it's a surprise.
I mean, yeah, dude, you get a pretty good ultimate out of him, and it surprises everywhere. That's gonna be a lot of child support because you can knock up 5 people with that.
Yeah. Okay. So the other side, Aotaka is actually hovering over the same thing again. So it's going to be the Gragas and the Lucian. So nothing big changes coming out from Ozone except for that Lee Sin because of Elise being picked away from Tay. It doesn't look like they're going to lock in a Lucian. They are actually hovering over the Sivir, which is a great choice. Because they have a Gragas, they have a Lee Sin, and a Renekton, and so on the hunt is going to be so good. As well as the Annie, because she can have so much more initiation with that Flash Tibbers if you have on the hunt.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that works out. We saw Rojo kind of dominate with Sivir, so now I guess maybe it's Melomelon saying, hey, my turn to play this champion, and I'll show you how to really play it. We'll see if it works.
I'm just getting another email from Wikipedia on when they want to interview me for their article. So that's exciting. And ladies and gentlemen, I will be going to IEM Katowice. So if any of you are going to Poland for IEM Katowice, maybe if you see me, come say hi, but I will harass every one of you guys there. Okay, but we have the team. It is going to be the top lane, Aotaka on Renekton, in the jungler, Tay on Lee Sin. In mid lane, it will be Envy on that Gragas, and in bot lane, the AD carry Mero on Sivir, and Digimon on Annie.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I like Rojo picking up this Caitlyn just because Dejuo did such a good job last game of keeping him away from that farm. And so, well, the best way to deal with an Annie is just stay away from her, really, especially with Leona being banned out by the Tigers, which is another good way to do it, but not available. So you pick up your Caitlyn. This time, at least, Rojo should be able to farm, which, if it follows the pattern of last game, Rojo didn't farm and was still ridiculous. If he's able to farm and get ridiculous this game, I do like that Caitlyn pickup, because last game, where did we see Rojo the whole time?
Just the backline all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I think my music, like my game music, just died. It's okay. I think when the game starts, it's going to reset itself. But yes, I don't know how this Caitlyn versus Sivir thing is going to be, considering that I mean, Caitlyn is such a long range, but it'll be harder for her to skill against a Sivir early game. But she can poke Sivir very early in the game because Sivir has such a short range. So this might go well for Rojo. Might. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, let's run down what is Okinawa playing. So on the top lane it will be Cocoon on Wukong, and jungle will be Bakudan on Elise. In the mid lane it's going to be Honegawa Suzuemon on Ziggs, and the bot lane it will be Rojo on Caitlyn, and support it's going to be Rilko support on Lissandra.
All right, and for Ozone Rampage on the other side.
Oh wait, I just said that.
Did you? I wasn't paying attention.
I said like Rampage like 5 minutes ago, probably 2 minutes ago.
I was thinking about Caitlyn and her traps and how it's basically free mana for Sivir.
Oh, yeah, but it's going to be very interesting. I think with the lineup that both team has, I do like how Okinawa no Tora is setting up their games with Wukong coming in for that. But I think because of how much sustain and damage that Rampage has, I would just give this a 2-0 to Rampage. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the lineup here out of Rampage, and I don't know. I feel like Okinawa might be going a little bit on tilt with these last minute roster changes. So
I do want to see the Okinawa Tigers in the finals. I'm not like putting down Rampage in any way. I'm just saying, we have seen Rampage a lot lately, and I always want to see new faces. And to see the Okinawa no Toras in the finals would be really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see a game 3, but I think if I pick the Tigers to win, they're going to lose, because that's kind of how JCG has been working out for us. Is whoever we pick for game 2 or game 3 does not win. So I might just abstain.
Yeah, we're gonna go into game really, really soon. Just waiting for the game to load. But this is going to be game number 2. Game 1 was given to Ozone Rampage with a very late comeback. I would call it a sort of a throw coming out from Okinawa no Tora, because a little bit of a poor decision making there. But hopefully we see a comeback from them in game 2. But we are going to game in a little bit less than a minute. I can't do English anymore. God.
That's all right. You can cast in Japanese. I'm sure that'll make everybody happy.
That is a terrible idea. You can cast in Japanese. Your Japanese is better than mine.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Yeah, we're gonna get underway here. I'm really interested. I've been watching so much like AD carry lanes lately, and I'm just like, I like the Caitlyn versus the Annie. I don't like the Caitlyn versus the Sivir. You can get a lot of free harass, but like, you spell shield the traps. You get a Caitlyn. You can never use your ultimate on Sivir as Caitlyn, because a spell shield for an ultimate is always going to be a good trade in Sivir's favor. If you can make her blow that spell shield early, go in and put a lot of damage down, obviously that's one way you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember that spell shield has a extremely long cooldown time. I think level 1 there's like 22 seconds or something like that. It's extremely long cooldown. But obviously Meron is a highly skilled AD carry, and so he knows exactly when to use his spell shields.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. I think Tay is going to be a big part of that in the bot lane. We saw him kind of set up that first blood in the bottom last game. Even though he didn't land the cocoon, he changed pathing and caused that first blood to happen. Now he's got Lee Sin, no cocoon. He's got a bit of a slow.
We are going into game, but unfortunately the game has been paused.
Yeah, so we were in game for all of 10 seconds before getting 10 seconds of pause here. Just gonna make sure everybody.
Oh yeah, you're in the game too. I forgot.
I'm here. I'm on top of things today.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for them to get back into the game before we go into game. But it looks like they have bought a little bit of items. A couple of them has bought items, so we see Renekton starting with that Relic Shield. Nothing too much difference coming in.
Which shield?
Relic Shield. Oh my god, Doran Shield.
Which also got nerfed.
Which also got nerfed, yes.
Pretty significantly.
Yeah, I think a lot of the armor items were very much nerfed this time around, and yeah, but we're still waiting for the pause to be resumed. I have no idea what's happening. No one has updated me on what is going on in terms of why is it paused. I would think that it's coming from. Actually, I don't know. I don't.
It came from Ozone. There was a
okay.
Yeah, Melon typed "please wait" in the chat. So I don't know if maybe he's grabbing a snack or what the deal is, but we'll see. I was watching Melon stream the other day. It was kind of fun, and Aotaka in the top lane. Yeah, they're an interesting pair.
I can never watch the stream because I don't know when it's being streamed. Like, no, I follow a few players, but they never like tweet about, you know, if they're streaming or not. Maybe you should link me whenever they're streaming. So I would watch it too.
They tweeted about it the other day. I think they're trying to get better at tweeting it. Obviously, it's in Japanese, but it was kind of fun to watch. I think the reason it popped up yesterday on my Twitter was because Aotaka like was tweeting like, "Hey, I'm live. Also, buy me this stuff on my Amazon wish list."
Very much like Aotaka. If you guys are ever in Tokyo, it's not by JCG, but there is the LJL, and a lot of teams are actually there for the games. I think the next time they're coming down is, I really don't know, April, is that right? I'm not sure myself.
Maybe.
Yeah, so everyone's going to come down, and so I might go pop in. But the game will be resumed. It's going to be played in the next couple of seconds, so I'm going to jump into game. So you guys, this is Game 2, JCG, Japan Competitive Gaming. This is the Premier League Semi-Finals 2. On the blue side, it is going to be Ozone Rampage. On the purple side, it is going to be Okinawa no Tora, Okinawa Tigers. The first game was given to Ozone Rampage, and we are playing a best-of-3 game, and this is game number 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Here we go. I got really excited, and then I remembered nothing happens at level 1. So.
Yeah, if you guys don't know who we are, my name is Ferlin Yoshimi, and alongside me is the wonderful, the very, very lovely Mr. Corey Swanson.
Why, thank you for that beautiful introduction. And if you want to follow us, probably want to follow that beautiful girl you keep seeing on stream. You can find it just below the video. I think she's got a Facebook and a Twitter down there. So, yeah, here we are, level 1. Nothing real significant. It's warding trinkets all the way down for all 10 members of this game.
Do you want to see? Look at what Wukong bought.
Yeah, so he's got the crystalline flask, which is not the worst pickup in the world because you're going to get bullied a little bit by Renekton. That's going to let you stay in lane a little bit longer.
Yeah, it also shows that maybe he is looking for an early gank from his jungler to help him in the lane early on, because Wukong will definitely need a little bit of help from Bakudan in the early games, because you don't want to get too bullied in lane until to a point where you can't do anything by yourself anymore. So Bakudan is going to be very crucial in terms of how the top lane is going to snowball.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Wukong outside of that jungle setting, so I'm interested to see what Cocoon does with that up there. Meanwhile, again, both junglers starting on the same side of the map, so you talk about maybe that early top gank. Right now, both junglers are set up for it. We'll have to see if they follow it through as we get this game underway. Support-wise, Annie opting for the Dorans, and Lissandra again with that ancient coin. So the talisman works really well later on in the game. Early game, though, with the nerfs, it's not necessarily the most ideal item. Does still give you a little bit of that gold generation. We'll have to see how it works out for real girl support in this lane.
Yeah, I'm just talking to Rapid really quickly. Okay, but let's just go into lane really quickly and see what's happening right there. Oh, I need to change this a little bit. I'm sorry.
Speaking of early ganks, Tay going across, stealing the red buff, is actually going to miss the Q, which is going to mean there's no kill potential here in the top lane. As it was actually pinged out. Cocoon was going to go take a look at red buff. They caught him out. But here comes Honekawa. Honekawa now caught between a rock, a hard place. a Lee Sin, a Gragas, if you will. Actually, no, it wasn't a red steal. It wasn't
Oh, the steal coming in from Lee Sin. Oh, and the first blood does go to Renekton. This is very, very bad. You're Renekton. You're already a very early bully in lane. And now with the first blood, this is going to be very bad for Cocoon in lane right now at the start, actually. Wow.
All right, so excuse me, I said he stole it. I didn't think there was any way he took it that fast, and I just had a weird vision thing where I could only see one of those red buff minions. He's actually the red buff minion who's still there. So they do catch him in the jungle, but it ends up being a death for Honekawa, getting caught between a jungler, a top laner, and a mid laner. And it was also Bakudan taking a lot of damage. He did, on the plus side, pick up the red buff for the Tigers, so it was just that kill going over, but the kill went to Renekton. So that's going to make an already unhappy lane a little bit unhappier for Wukong. Although,
Real Girl support getting a lot of punishment coming in so early in the lane. Wow.
Yeah,
so,
kind of just sitting there and taking that harass.
And we want to take big notes right here because Sivir early game has more CS against Rojo on Caitlyn. This is very, very bad for Caitlyn. You never want to be on a CS deficit so early in game, especially as a Caitlyn.
Right. Pretty good job there, though, of Real Girl support recognizing that Annie had disappeared. Tried to engage, got the spell shield out, and that was all. So far, though, it is sticking closer, and I don't know how much of that just stacks up to Melomelon being, you know, I don't want to put Rojo down, but as far as standings go, Melomelon is the better player. And last game, we saw him farm a lot better. Doing a good job this game of farming, but Rojo also at least keeping the farm even this time, so.
Are we calling him Rojo now? Because I thought we were calling him Rojo.
I know it says Rojo. It just looks like Spanish to me. Just go with it. He can be Rojo. He can be Rojo. He can. I should probably tweet him and be like.
Yeah, we should probably ask him. Be like,
which one is it?
Yeah, which one
As
is
we
it?
actually see a gank in the bot lane from Tay, but you've got.
Bakudan is coming in from behind as well.
Yeah, and Tay's actually gone pretty far.
So Meron does have his spell shield out. I want to see what's going to happen.
Ozone. Will they be able to do anything before Tay gets back here? A lot of damage coming out of Dejiwo. That should be a kill picked up. And I don't think Dejiwo is going to get there in time. The Q will land, but Bakudan's going to be able to get away from that. So a good pickup for the Tigers. However, that kill did actually go on to Real Girl support.
Yeah, it's interesting how in both games, the first blood was... Oh, no, actually, the first blood was not given to the support this game. I completely forgot about the first kill for Renekton right there. But yeah, so the kills coming in for the supports this time around as well. And yeah, it was a really good gank from Bakudan coming in from behind. Didn't manage to land a cocoon though, so that was a little bit of a zannin.
Yeah, too bad. Definitely. And actually, part of that was, you can see those really good wards by the Tigers down in that lower river.
God.
So they were able to see how far Tay was away and calculate that, hey, we should be able to get in here and get a kill before he's able to come for backup. And that's also speaks to the fact that there weren't any wards down there for Rampage. So that's actually just been remedied now. Dejiwo saying that's not happening again. However, it's not a Tribush ward, so if they want to try something sneaky and come back from that way, they can. As Tay's actually doing another invade. We saw Tay invading last game and paid for it pretty dearly, as he's actually going to run into Honekawa. Envy not quite close enough. Envy is actually 6 though, so had he gotten there a little sooner, that might have been a pretty easy kill, landing an ultimate down onto Honekawa's Ziggs.
Right, because Ziggs is not level 6 yet, we're going to mention that. So we see the bot lane going back buy some items because neither of them are actually level 6 yet. So once they come back into lane and get that level 6, it's going to be crazy, crazy explosive at the bot lane because they have so much more burst potential compared to what top lane is going to be like. But we see here Aotaka actually hitting 6 before Cocoon does with on the Wukong.
And it's interesting, again, we saw Cocoon opting for the offensive stats early on Renekton last game. This game, after the Crystalline Flask, he's picked up the Doran's Blade and the Longsword. Meanwhile, Aotaka has gone straight for a little bit of armor and the Giant's Belt. So he's going to be pretty tanky up here against Cocoon, even with the armor penetration out of Wukong, as we actually see a bit of back and forth up here. Not a whole lot of kill potential right now, but
No, neither of
doing
them.
his best to win that trade.
Yeah, neither of them has the knocking away Honekawa actually.
Yeah, so this is Honekawa again. What he did last game got caught out a lot by those Gragas barrels. And this time, Gragas doing a good job coming from the opposite side.
Yeah, and the Mega Inferno bomb not
gank
hitting anyone at all right there.
From the mid laner. Yeah, so those Mega Infernos that were on all game last game, the first one will not hit really anything there. So it's going to be another kill for Ozone. Meanwhile, bot lane both have their BF swords, their Doran's blades. Just some health on Annie as opposed to now a completed tier 2 medallion for Lissandra. But a lot of damage coming out here again.
Yeah, Rojo is trying to harass Middle a little bit, but every time he tries to harass Middle answers with a ricochet or a boomerang, and so in terms of just exchanging damage, Middleman is actually on top of that, and is on top of CS as well.
And it's actually interesting to point out right now that both Gragas and Annie sold their warding totems exchanged it for a sweeping lens. So it gives Annie a little bit more control of the vision here in the bot lane. And I like that pickup by Gragas. It allows him to keep the river free of wards and gives a clear path to Lee Sin to come in and help those ganks out. Both of those champions with their ultimate knockbacks. Pretty easy time with Ziggs, whose only escape really is that satchel charge.
Yeah, so nothing's really happening right now on the map, but we do see a 300 goal advantage for Ozone Rampage early on in this game. Rojo is still struggling a little bit in terms of CS against Middle on Sivir. Nothing happening in the top lane too much. I'm actually really surprised with how Wukong Cocoon is actually doing so well in terms of Railgun support!
Ultimates coming out of both of the supports. Annie doing a really good job of landing a flash tipper stun, but Real Girl support right there to ultimate right back, encase them in ice. As we see more damage coming out in the mid lane, and it's not necessarily done in the bot lane. Ganks everywhere, at least in the bot, but in the mid lane. Wow. So Ziggs is going to get out of that one. I should not have said that, because he is not going to get out of that one. It's the flash, the body slam, and the barrel roll is going to pick up another kill for Gragas. So Gragas now 1-0-2, starting to look pretty scary. Opted for the double Dorans in addition to the Chalice. Rampage coming out looking really strong. Now the question is, will they set up for this dragon? And sure enough, it looks like they are down here. Bakudan is here. Could be there for the steal. Won't get it. Actually has to flash away. We might see a re-engage. A really good engage in there by Real Girl support. Going to pay for it with his life, however. So it's a kill for your support as the Tigers. But Melon picks up a kill, and they pick up 3 more assists to go along with it. So the dragon and that exchange definitely going in favor again for Ozone Rampage.
Yeah, not a very successful counter again coming in from Okinawa Tora. I do like the fact that they are a little bit on the deficit right now in terms of global goal as well as CS in lanes, but I think one good thing coming out is that Wukong is not struggling as much as what we thought he would in terms of just being really pushed back into his lane. He is, but not as much as we thought he would be. He is struggling a little bit with CS right now, and his turret is almost down. But he is, you know, I think fairly doing well in this lane, considering that he is holding his own with a Renekton.
Yeah, well, I don't have the highest hopes for him right now. Aotaka now with that chain vest as well, and you can see it starting to swing a little bit farther in favor of Renekton. The farm going up, the lane being pushed to his tower. And in terms of damage, Cocoon's missing a lot more health and taking a lot more damage than this alligator is. There's really been no help for either member in the top lane here. That's a pretty common pattern, especially here in Japan. Very big fans of the top is an island, leave everybody alone. As I say that, though, we might see Bakudan looking to make something happen there. Ping's coming down. Renekton pushed pretty far. The question is, even with the gank, do they have the damage to finish Aotaka?
Cyclone coming out from Aotaka because Bakudan is coming in from the back. He misses the cocoon though, and Aotaka actually has to flash out of that. But he might be going down to this just a term of who is going to pick up that kill.
Do they have the damage before he can slice? There's the slice, the flash, no dice.
Oh!
And actually coming back, who's gonna go down?
Cocoon might go down to, yeah, he does go down to the ignite. Great fight coming out from
We have a fight in the bot lane. Dejiwoo coming from the backside. Tay here as well. Real Girl Support's gonna abandon ship, gonna lose his life anyway. And I don't think Rojo has much hope of getting out of this. The best he's gonna be able to do is maybe pick up a kill. But a beautiful stun coming out of Dejiwoo.
I don't know what Rojo was thinking back there. You cannot 1v1. Try to 1v1 with the Annie right there, and you can see, you know, Che actually doing a little bit of proxying on his own because they want to put this turret down and take the first turret of the game. It will go to Ozone Rampage, and it will be that bottom turret for them. They are going to continue pushing because Rojo is actually still down. They might have a bit of hits, but no, they're actually going to back off right there. And second turret coming out for them as well in the top lane.
Things are looking really good for Rampage right now. And a lot of pressure coming on Honekawa in the mid lane as well. Look at the wards right now for Ozone Rampage. You cannot walk anywhere in the lower jungle as a member of the Tigers without having everything you do called out. I think this might be Ozone starting their very own version of the NSA out in that jungle because they are tracking everything.
Awataka and Envy actually wanted to go steal a red buff, but it was not there. And Bakudan getting caught out of position because he didn't know that the two of them are there. And this is going to be a kill going in for Envy, I think. Nope. Awataka is going to take that for himself, and he's now caught under the turret.
And that's the power of Wars. Honekawa doing his best to save him. He's going to be an explosive cast. Real Girl Support doing what he can, but... well, Real Girl Support is, in fact, just that, a support. Maybe not a real girl. Half of it is correct. No real damage coming out of him. So that's 2 kills going over to Ozone, and it's going to allow them to put a lot of pressure on this middle turret.
I think they're going to be able to take it just because of the fact that Lissandra is not AP mid, and so she has no wave clear. And yeah, they're going to take that.
Rojo's not here. Rojo's in the bottom lane trying to keep that lane pushed. So that's all the outer turrets now for Ozone Rampage. This is a completely different game than we saw game 1.
Yeah, I mean, this time around, Ozone is really putting their foot on the ground and really pushing very early on. They know they have the advantage, and they know that they can take on anyone if they're going on a 1v1 because all the lanes are doing so much better in terms of just against their opponent in terms of being in lane. And so they know that, and they're pushing their advantage. And this is really, really, really good for them because you don't want to drag out a game if you already have the advantage. And so this is really good strategy coming out from Rampage.
And if you take a look at the items coming out, Renekton's got his Sunfire. Wukong still kind of piecemealing his items, looking for that Sunfire, but not quite there yet because he built some of those early small damage items. A lot of damage actually coming out from Lee Sin.
Look at Dejiwoo and Merominon's position. They want to bait out Rojo and Real Girl Support, but they're not having any of that. They know that if they go beyond that river, they are going to get ganked and they are going to get caught out of position.
And this is exactly what we saw last time, was Melomelon really bullying that lane. And again, he's up a pair of shoes. So always fashion conscious, getting those shoes before everybody else in that bottom lane. And here is Honekawa again, getting caught out by the Gragas ultimate. But that's not all, because there's ultimates all the way down. Dejiwoo using his ultimate and is actually going to take that one away from Melomelon. Doesn't really matter. Melomelon's going to be happy with the assist, happy with a little bit more gold, and happy to know that they've forced Rojo now to an 0-2-2 score as they continue to push that bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's pretty cute to see that Real Girl Support is 2-2-0, but it's okay, you know, Rojo does have that assist coming in as well, so it's not too bad. But Cocoon is actually being bullied a lot out of his lane right now. He's actually being pushed all the way back to his second tier turret right now, so it's not too good. And without even noticing that, they actually got their first inner tier turret, and it's going to be that bottom lane. Metal is so strong right now.
That's 4 turrets now already for Ozone. 0 for the side of the Tigers. It's 11 kills to 3. Gold lead already 8,000. I don't think we saw an 8,000 gold lead in the last game at any point in time. We're 17 minutes into this one, and Ozone's going to be taking another dragon here.
Yeah, they're just taking every little thing that they can take away from the Okinawa Tigers right now. They have the timers on the Dragon. I don't think that the Tigers have exact timing on Dragon right now, and that's really, really bad news for them. But look at that, Tay is going straight onto Honekawa.
Yeah, and that's Tay going a little too hard, a little too far. Bakudan was there. If Bakudan wasn't there, that probably would have been another dead Ziggs. But Spider there to save the day, as we actually saw the speed boost coming out of Real Girl support. We've seen that a lot, where Real Girl will blow his amulet, and then nothing really comes of it.
Yeah, see, they're going down into Dragon, but they...
Yeah, I told it's gonna be very sad, Lysandra. There's no Dragon there.
They don't have the exact timings on Dragon right now. It's going to be really bad for them. Real Girl support coming in.
A lot of damage actually going on to Real Girl support. Real Girl support was the one who engaged that fight. And here comes Ozone, forcing flashes out. Aotaka's actually gonna flash. Dejiwu, though, taking a lot of damage before he's able to do anything. It will be a kill for Melamela now. A double kill for Melamela, and he's not done because Cocoon is probably not going to make out of this. You can see a little bit of Trixie play coming out. Will it be enough? The stun should surely be the end of Cocoon. And Rampage not done yet. They're going to have to wait for this wave to push. But that was a 3-for-1. And again, it's Caitlyn, or no, because Real Girl support went down, so that was a 4-for-1. And with Caitlyn the only one alive, that's going to be another turret here.
Yeah, if we go back a little bit to before that, what we thought that Tay was going a little bit too deep in terms of just going into that red buff, trying to get Honekawa, turned out really good for Okinawa Tora, because Bakudan was there and they got the kill off of Tay towards Honekawa, but the fight was so dragged out and Real Girl support just went in, not knowing what he did, and lost the fight right there. As we see more action coming in.
More action. We see how the explosive cast actually knocking Bakudan and Honekawa away, but not over yet. A nice, if you want to say, insect coming out of Tay. It's going to pick up Bakudan. The ultimate coming out of Dejiwu won't pick anybody up. Cocoon's actually going to pick up Lee Sin, and Melamela now picking up a kill. Will it be enough? Cocoon doing pretty good damage, and will pick up the double kill. So that's, all in all, pretty good for the Tigers. Honekawa's going to have to make sure he doesn't take any residual damage there. But Cocoon there actually shutting down Melamela, and he was 4-0-7 before being shut down there. So it's going to be a lot of gold in the Monkey's pocket. But I think another real big thing to point out in this game, last game we saw Honekawa, making a few mistakes because he's not the mid player for the Tigers. But for the most part, keeping pretty even with Envy. This game, Envy sitting 5-0-8, 9,000 gold. Ziggs is just about to hit 6,000. So if you take a look at those items, Death Cap completed with another needlessly large rod on top of it. Ziggs still has the blasting wand to go along with his other items.
Yeah, I mean, even if you think that, it's good for them that Cocoon got a double kill off of that, but they're losing so much in terms of just global objectives. They have lost 5 turrets, including their inner turrets as well. And they got 0 turrets in reply for that. And they don't have timer on Dragon. That is not good for the Okinawa Tigers. They are a little bit lost in terms of what they're going to do next. Because they want to push, but they don't have the capacity to push. They want to defend, but Aotaka is pushing so much in this split pushing game that they don't know which route they want to go with this. Look at that. They are committing 4 players top lane on 1 Aotaka.
Right, so now the question is, what is Rampage going to do in response? They're actually looking to move in on this. Melamela isn't there, but it doesn't really matter. Tay looking for the engage. He's been doing that all game. Now Real Girl support is actually going to have to use his ultimate on Real Annie support. A lot of damage coming out from Ziggs, but here is Melamela. Cocoon doing his best, and actually a beautiful play there from Melamela, not taking any damage, not getting the knock up. Kill going for Envy, and it's not done yet. Real Girl support looking to go down. It's another kill for Melamela.
Look at it! Envy is going all the way into
He's
the
got
base.
like 7-0-8. Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to call this a complete GG coming up from Ozone Rampage. The Okinawa, the Tigers, are not sure what they're doing with this game.
3-0 exchange. That's turret number 6. It looks to be turret number 7.
Yeah, the Tigers look like they're not coordinated with this game. They might have sort of given up. It's really sad. It happens with a lot of teams because once they get so behind early game, they lose so much of that confidence, and you know they get frustrated with each other, and they're frustrated with themselves. And then when it comes to team fights, communication just goes right out the door. You can see that with the plays that they have been trying to do with this game.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate when you get that last minute roster change before you go into a match. You know, that's not the people you're necessarily used to playing with, and then you kind of throw game one. Really good way to go on tilt. And actually, here's a pretty good Cocoon coming up from Bakudan, but do they have the damage to kill him? The explosive cast being used really early.
Oh, they gave
Inferno bombs coming out, but they're using a lot to try and pick Envy up. Is he gonna be able to body slam over the wall? The Cocoon, the Q is not gonna land. The Cocoon is gonna miss.
Envy makes it out alive, and you saw that the Mega Inferno Bomb did actually do a lot of damage to Envy.
And that was actually Aotaka and Dejiwo trying to turn things back around. Not really managing anything, but Aotaka's not done yet. Look at, he's taking absolutely no damage. So tanky with only in terms of magic resist items. He only has the Spectre's Cowl, but that's more than enough because there's really nothing on Elise right now. She's 0-4-4. She's got her penetration shoes, but they're stuck in the mid lane here again as Ozone's going to pick up another free dragon. We're looking at almost 15,000 gold now between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of time when Ozone wants to finish this game because it's very hard to come back from such a huge deficit. It's a 15,000 deficit and Ozone can go for Baron right now, but Envy is getting caught out of nowhere. Turns around and actually gets a kill for himself onto Bakudan, but dies to Rojo in the end.
That nice red buff helping a little bit, but this could be bad news for Caitlyn. Caitlyn's gonna go down. Cocoon though doing a lot of damage, but Cocoon, you do not have a team with you anymore. Real Girl support is actually gonna pick up Tay there. Cocoon now gonna try and get out of this. Melon is he gonna be able to keep up? Cocoon might actually look to try and turn around. A little bit of trickery. Ooh, we're watching this in slow motion unfold. The Q coming out from Melon is actually going to pick up Real Girl support as he tried to come and support that fight. Double kill going across to Melon. 7-1 and 8. Wow. Just nothing is going right for the Tigers right now. And this looks to be Ozone pushing pretty hard. There's Aotak again. We talked about it. He's taking absolutely no damage. It's going to be the inhibitor tower in the top lane going down probably as well. So with the middle inhibitor gone. Wow, I just said gone. The weirdest way I've ever said that word.
It's very country.
With the middle inhibitor gone and the top inhibitor tower gone, that's going to basically give Rampage free reign over all of this map. You look at the items, builds all across the board. There's just so many more items right now.
Yeah, I think Ozone wants to end the game, but they're not pushing hard enough to do that. I think they want to get maybe the Baron first before they finish the game, but it's a huge risk. You never want to be so far in the game and then have like a terrible Baron fight and give up a lot of things, especially when you're so... It's not... We think that this game is going far, but it's only at 26 minutes into the game. You know, yeah, I thought it's a little bit more than past 30-minute mark because if you pass that, right?
Totals like this, 50,000 gold, and it's only 26 minutes into the game. As we actually see an engage coming out, Real Girl support's been doing this a lot, getting into the back lines, and really doesn't have any follow-up from his team. Has to run away. Here's the Cocoon ultimate. They might get Dejiwo out of this, but when all is said and done, here comes Aotaka is gonna pick up. No, not gonna pick up a kill. However, Emmy picking up one, Tay picking up another, Melon trying to pick up one. And it's not over yet. Rojo surely going to go down here to Aotaka. Real Girl support also going down to Aotaka. This is going to be a 5-4-1. Rojo taking it like...
I think they were waiting to give the kill to Envy, but he took it for himself. Yeah. But look at that. They want to go for Baron, but Dejiwo and Mero has a plan for themselves. And it is going to be a GG. It is going to be the surrender, and it is going to be game 2, 2-0. It is going to be Ozone Rampage winning this series.
So
wow.
After a pretty close first game that went back and forth for quite a while, you know, the Tigers really gave up control of that driver's seat in game 1 and never got it back there in game 2 as Ozone really going on a rampage there.
Right. I think this game 2, it really shows that, you know, with a sub coming in and, you know, just a sudden sub as well, you know, it doesn't work well for them. And they like you said, they lost control a lot of it in the early game. And it's really sad to see them spiral down when they're in such a great position in terms of just playing the games last week.
Right. So, I mean, it's too bad for the Tigers. You like to see the upstart kids kind of come out and take it to them, but you can't take anything away from Ozone Rampage. They're really living up to that Rampage name. They were a little bit of off form last month. They are back on form, playing really well. Shaky first game, game 2, no mistakes there. So congratulations. They are going to move on to the JCG Season 1 Finals and face off against Rascal Jester.
And that will happen tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Japan time. I think that's about 6 a.m. PST. I don't know. That's Boston. No, 3 a.m. That'll be 3 a.m. PST time. So if you want to watch, do watch it. We are not going to be casting tomorrow, but there will be the Japanese stream. So I don't know if they're going to stream on this channel or the JCG LOL Twitch channel. Either way, it is going to be streamed in Japanese tomorrow. So if you want to watch that, do join the Japanese casters. There will be no English stream tomorrow. I am very sorry. Myself and Corey will not be available tomorrow. We're going to have our own Saturday.
So,
but
yeah. Thanks for stopping. I did want to point out real quick for those of you, if you do plan on watching or maybe want to check it out, Rascal Jester and Ozone Rampage actually played 2 weeks ago. They met on February 16th, and Rampage actually took the set 2-0. So it'll be interesting to see if Rampage can keep that up, take another 2 from Rascal, or if Rascal's going to be able to take Season 1 championship after taking the Grand Championship last year.
Yep.
Should be a very good matchup.
Should be a very good match. Unfortunately, we will not be casting it. I will not see you guys before IEM Katowice, most probably. So if any of you guys are going to IEM Katowice, I will be going there. I'll be going there for the full 4 days. I'll be watching the League of Legends games, obviously. I'm probably going to watch a couple of the StarCraft games. Now, we'll make a quick stop to the EMS1 CSGO competition. It's a huge competition. It's $250,000 pool prize for the CSGO. One of the biggest, I think, in terms of CSGO competitions as of recently. And so I'll be there for the entire 4 days. I'll probably make a trip down to Germany, Cologne after that. So if you guys are there, I'll see you guys there. But thank you so much for stopping by, watching the games, even though it's been, you know, just 2-hour stream, but it's been fun. It's a 2-0. Congratulations to Ozone Rampage for winning the series, and we look forward to their games tomorrow. My name is Feline Yoshimi, and the lovely guy that you don't see but just hear. I don't have 2 voices. The other person with me is Corey Swanson. Thank you so much for joining me, Corey.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's always a good time here at JCG. So big thanks again to the viewers for stopping by, giving us your morning or evening or whatever time of day it happens to be. And enjoy your weekends.
Yep. If you are interested in following JCG, myself, or Corey, I think there are informations below. I have Twitter, I have Facebook, so does Corey. Corey has Twitter, has Facebook. I highly encourage you to follow him. He is a very, very funny, very lovely person. So thank you, guys. I will see you around if you're in Japan or in Tokyo. I won't be able to see you guys anyway. But thank you for joining us. Thank you, Corey. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.